I don't know how long I'm going to be here. Can't even see the timer, can we? Uh, all right, let's run it. I don't think we're going to do much more than 15, 20 minutes. Uh, yeah. What do you want me to do? There's no, I look around, there's a lot of people who are unhappy in the world. Great. I figure for what I'm unhappy about, it's not worth squawking about. I can just do something else in my days and my time. I think I'm going to do that. Hey, William, good to see you. Um, yeah, so apparently there's a sort of a drop off and an exiting of some stuff going on around here. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I'm having a day. My car has to have this freaking. I just paid $400 to get the windshield replaced. Another 500 for deductible for this accident these old people hit me with. Now it looks like I'm gonna have like a $1,500 bill to get my car to stop knocking and ticking. And after I went and had an oil change, so now there's all this stuff, and I'm just kind of like, ugh. It appears to be on light support. Yeah, you look. If I hate to say it, but I mean, Haps is not your boyfriend, which is the streamer we're using, and the rollout was so weird and bad that it seemed like a lot of people are just sort of being sort of snotty at the user base, which is bad. You can't really do that, but they're doing that. Go someplace else. Okay, I'll go to a much more stable platform like Twitch, which is where everybody's going. I feel bad. I feel like I invested 6 months daily, right? This was an up and coming, right? Um, but like all these giant, once they take off, the first thing they do is abuse their usership that made them wonderful and lovely and great. It would have been a great thing if I could have done 1,000 days here, right? But I don't know, man. Um, Other fish to fry, other worlds to conquer. Yeah. So what I've been doing, other than sitting in this apartment without a car, I'm not really feeling that. I don't even know what can I do here. Uh, I'm just having one of those days. Yeah, I think they know they've got you over a barrel, right? And I'm over a barrel with this thing. I feel like one step forward, two steps back is what's going on here. And I'm not. I'm. This is why I tried to play guitar. I'm trying not to fall into this pit of seeing things. So I hate to say it, the way they actually are, sort of unfair and sort of ridiculous. Let's cut this other light on. This light has been on since we started streaming, but now, man, I don't even know what to make of this thing. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. All right, is that still glowing back there? Yeah, it is. All right. Things change, right? So, what are we doing today? Where's my phone? Good Lord. All right, hold on. All right. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. What is on my phone? Here's how, man. Biden infrastructure. I wish I could drink up some information about this. Biden Biden $1 trillion infrastructure plan, which is really a $550 billion infrastructure plan. He signed today, and true to what I said, he didn't sign it any later than 1:30 in the afternoon because he's got to be in bed by 2:30. Oh, and all of this, and he got one of his czars or whatever the fuck you want to call them, to hand out the money. And who's it going to? Like I say, you and I won't be repairing any bridges or any roads. So now all these people are going to line up to get this government money, and they're going to do what they always do because there's never any oversight. They're just going to give themselves higher salaries, and so they're going to do what the Taliban did with $1 trillion. Yeah, I'm just completely done, and I'm officially over the nonsensical nonsense of what the Democratic Party is. And it's not just the Dems. Don't get it twisted. It's also the Republicans. The Republicans are a fairly hot shit show as well. Um, yeah, almost as bad as this restreamer. I hope to be on Twitch and start another 1,000 day devotional, likely by the first of the year, right? So I'm gonna try and stream 3, 4, 5 days a week. Give myself a day or two off, do something else. But once January rolls around, I'm gonna do 1,000 days every day. I'm just gonna do it someplace else. And don't get it wrong, I'm not saying that that's they won't have any fuck ups over there. Like today, my internet went out. I was like, yeah, this makes sense. I was in the middle of a conversation on Skype with my homie. Internet goes out. I was like, God damn it. Call up. Yeah, we have an outage in your area. We can text you when it comes back on, and we expect it to be on. It was like 1:32. We expect it to be on by like 5:30. I was like, mother, who do you complain to, right? The first death was the complaint industry where you can go and say, "Can I speak to your manager?" None of that shit exists anymore. Ugh. Yeah, I don't even know. So yeah, Biden signed this thing. I just think that these people are just pulling money out of the treasury, and when it all goes bad, they're all going to be on jets to other places. You're going to find that all these people were always Russian plants or German plants, or And now that we're just all open to anybody, I'm pretty sure we have rinky-dink nations spies taking where all this shit off of us. You're going to nuke the world, America? Are you? I mean, the idea that there's a fucking English prince living in California and now a Japanese empress living in New York, I'm just kind of like, what was it all for? What does America stand for now? Is a bank? Yeah, this whole thing is coming down, and I think it's coming down to violence because this doesn't make any sense. Yeah, you sold you should want to be wealthy to everybody, but everybody can't be. What poster boy are you gonna dig out to make this system look right? Lottery winners? Yeah, it's over. 16's arrested in shooting near Colorado high school. That's not national news. It's Colorado news, not national news. This is my thing. Cuban dissidents with a rose send powerful message on the island crackdown. And look, these Cuban dissidents in Miami, they shouldn't be able to do this shit. If you're going to be a fucking freedom fighter, go over there and freedom fight. America let all sorts of people here that they should really reevaluate. You got Ted Cruz. I want to look up Ted Cruz history. You got American generals telling you that there shouldn't be any the only religion should be an American religion like Christianity. He was a general. It just lets you see the hot fuckery, the ridiculousness of what is going on here. Let's tilt. That's the best that I can get it. That's good enough. All right. I'm looking fat. These things happen. You're not supposed to be 21 forever, people. Can you watch and comment on Twitch? No one is happy with Kamal Dwight. Can I watch and comment on Twitch? Uh when I'm on Twitch, but I'm using their interface. So it'd be like watching on Twitch while using a different interface. Um yeah, I don't know, man. It's and with Twitch I'll be able to play games, right? I mean, I bought Il Stormovic and I'm yet to set up my flight controller joysticky. My homie was supposed to help me, but like I said, it's been a week. It really has been a week. Um I'm gonna have to freaking pull a rabbit out of my ass to pay for this car. They're talking to me that my steering wheel need replacing. Like my steering wheel needs replacing. They was also telling me I should just trade it in. I get a lot more money because here's the thing: there are no chips for all of these cars, so all these used cars are now worth money, and they have a bunch of cars on the lot already made that they're gonna remember every year they go, oh, get your last year's models for half. That last year's model, I never understood. I'm like, why would you make so many cars every year that you have to give the new cars away at a discount? What happened to all the cars unsold? You never hear this shit, right? Yeah. Um, Look, my whole thing is you don't need a new car. The American society tells you need a new car every 5 years. I think you need a new car every 10. But how much money would they make then? Then they want you to buy because you're look classy or you got a new gig or you know what? They want you to have several houses through the course of your life. You really only need two. You need the one you and your spouse buy and raise your kids in, right? And then you need to sell that house when all the kids are out of the place and buy something smaller. That's it. But now it's impossible to buy a house. Somebody fucked up America. And what you know what I'm saying? And to hide all that shit, they hid it under racism, right? One group going, you give them too much, another group going, we care, but they're not doing anything for you. While all that happened, all these people wandered in that you weren't looking at, that did all this wild shit and are doing all this wild shit. Um, and now people realize the whole idea of the racism that you kept around was essentially for two reasons. One, it's made the shit people feel better about themselves. Look at me. At least I'm not those people, right? But it also allowed other people to be occupied with something while you cleaned the place out. Yeah, Obama. Yeah, Obama destroyed all these used cars. And when that happened, I was like, that's just sort of a favor to the used car market. You look, if pork is a nickel a pound, right? And all of a sudden you go, we got too much pork in the country. So then you wipe out like a million pigs or whatever, right? Now all of a sudden bacon is not a nickel a pound, it's $3 a pound. Then you did something for some big, big pig, right? Yes, big pork. For somebody. I mean, you did in perfectly good pigs, perfectly good cars, and now I want to say 6, 7 years later, it's looking like the wrong idea. And America is full of this shit. People who just fuck it up and are never held to account, ever held to account. I wish you could, what is it? Citizens arrest a senator. I wish you could instead of black joggers. Yeah. And then you look at this general, what's his name? They were going to try for treason, talking to the fucking Russians. I forget his name. And he's talking bullshit. Then you question who raised him up through the ranks if he's this much of a what did the British say? A tosser? That's good. But what I really need was ice cold water. That's what I was craving. I mean, don't worry, that was a big sip, but it was only my first today. Ugh. Ice cold water. Whoo! I remember as a kid. Sweet Jesus, praise the Lord. We used to drink ice. We used to call them Johnny Pumps, not fire hydrants, right? So this is the holdover of the old black people that I was related to. So they taught me Johnny Pump, and they taught me not flapjacks. They called me Johnny Cakes. And the only time I've ever had a Johnny Cake in my life was when my grandmother cooked it. God rest her soul. Um, yeah, Johnny Cakes, which are essentially flapjacks, pancakes somehow different, but somehow not. Uh, and Johnny Pumps were fire hydrants. We've just called. I don't know why they call them Johnny Pumps, but I was like, when you're a little kid learning the names of things, they told me that was the name of fire hydrants, Johnny Pumps. Been thinking a lot about my family recently as I age. Um, Thinking a lot specifically about my grandmother. Um, I don't even know what to tell you. So yeah, I think we're just gonna move this over to Twitch. It's gonna be a gaming show, program, diary, whatever you want to call it. It's gonna be a political diary, and it's going to be every day. My unique sensibility. And then I'm just going to monetize everything. You can give me money. Because I was thinking about this. I was like, man, I should really none of this shit's monetized. I just talk on the internet. Um, with a goal. You know what I would like to do? I'm a big fan of the Boy Scouts. I think that they were destroyed by perverted sickos who they weren't invited in. They infiltrated it, right? And then I think it was backed up shamelessly by bullshit management who didn't want to get a bad name for this and tried to cover shit up, as well as shifty lawyers who are always around something like this, right? Instead of just coming out forthright and honestly and dealing with it. But I think that those kids, when that organization runs well, they do a lot of good for people. Thanks for the award. These awards, man, it's so good. Well, not so good. I mean, when I say that, I'm being subversive. It's an interesting thing. Uh, so yeah, man, I don't think they should die, and I think all the lawsuits and uh, oh, so now they managed to kill off something that was good, right? Just a little honesty in the system would be nice, and there isn't any. Because this is my thing. I think people want to stay in power once they get there, and some people have it in a window, 2, 4, 10 years, and then they should go. Some people are perpetually in the zone, 30 years, right? Some people should be one and dones, but they make it like everybody's super important and they are integral to the process, and that's why nothing gets done. And I've always said, once you leave office, people should run through your record to see who you took money from and who you met with. And once they get up, they just subverted everything. Now you don't know who they're meeting with. They're taking money from fucking foreign leaders. The idiot Supreme Court says that money is speech, considering 99% of the people don't have the money. What about if I look? What about power is speech? If I can blow your brains out with a shotgun, then I get the microphone. How's that? I mean, we're going to be stupid and ridiculous about it. And then you know what they would say? They would just go, "All right, all guns are now legal." Which, yeah, try that in America. Yeah, ugh, the whole place is ridiculous. I think you get this because you then go, "Oh, look what those people over there are doing," and then people take their eyes off the ball, and you write these midnight bills where, you know, you raise your. I mean, those guys make a ton of money because they just kept raising their salaries, right? Oh my God. When you need help, who do you call on? When everybody's a fucking corrupt fuckstick. I was watching this thing with this woman, a Hollywood actress, not actress, stunt woman, was hurt. She was paralyzed. And she had to sue. And then the people that she was suing sued her. I'm like, she was actually on your film working like she was, and you paralyzed her. In order not to fucking take care of her, they sued her. She got like 7 million, and then the lawyers took most of that. The lawyers took 3 million of that. She's in a wheelchair forever, and then it's just kind of like, who looks out for you in this country? Who? Somebody tell me, because I can tell you exactly why the country is shit and who's at play and what they do. I'm not confused by it at all, and I believe a lot of people are not confused by it at all. But they want to keep this whole thing of, oh, he said this and this guy said that. Ooh, it's a really good debate, and it's not a debate. They make it a debate. Like I say about racism, black people don't keep racism around. Racism is wholly the construct, of this society, not this society, but it's a product of the society because you know we're based on England, and England runs on that shit. That I'm important because classism. I'm an earl, or I'm a little more important because I'm a duke, or I'm a little because I'm a viceroy to the king and all this shit. I'm the most important because I'm the king or the queen of whatever. And then you come here, you talk democracy, and you just chop it down to we're better than these people because we're rich. We're better than these people because we're white. We're better than these people because we're military. And then you get the same, even as you talk about all of us and we as Americans and all this stuff, you completely subvert what you're saying as you say it. So yeah, I don't think by January I'm going to be a Democrat either. I'm absolutely sick of Joe Biden. Peking won't say if Peking won't save Biden with back Harris in 24, 28. Uh, Biden, I said this before, is not going to be alive for the next election. He's barely holding on now. He's doing 1:30 press conference. Oh, Jim Psaki is bullshit. Why can't I put this shit on? See, man, they really, they really did a job on this app. I can't. I want to like the reply. I can't like this reply. Ugh. Okay. Yeah. I just think they're so used to lying to you and so used to you being frozen that's their arrogance, right? And I think that in two places. I think the civil rights movement, where all these black people marched and marched and marched and marched and marched, nobody's marching anymore. And I think they had a lot of black people who were like leaders in the community. No one listened to those fucksticks anymore. So now I think when this shit breaks open, it won't be how did it get this way. You know what? Remember, well, you don't remember, but in the late 50s, people who didn't like black people was even shocked by the shit going on in the south of the country, right? They were even shocked by it because that's what you do. We want states' rights so we can be quietly over here abusing the women, abusing the children, stealing money. It's states, fuck states' rights at this point. We're not going to be 50 different places. We need to be one country. And like I always said, if Georgia has the best education system, everyone should adopt it. That's how competition works. It's not, oh, I've made this nice fiefdom where I can do whatever I want in this state, with the exception of, you know, open murder as a governor or whatever. The idea that, and mind you, do I have to give everybody a history lesson? Kennedy did not give a fuck about black people, right? This whole thing surprised him like 9/11 surprised Bush, right? Remember what the Democrats were. They're the party of things and stuff, right? And the Republicans were what? They were completely different. Ronald Reagan. Yeah, he was a Republican, but in 1950s, Martin Luther King was a Republican. Brother Ab, all those people were Republicans. There was a realignment going on, and then you had to come down, Dixiecrats. I don't even know what that even means. You let these people be this thing for far too long, and now they're like the Taliban. They demand unfairness. You're gonna have to deal with them. They remind me of China. You're gonna have to deal with China. You're gonna have to deal with China. You have an old man, a doddering old fool. I have nothing but love and respect for my elders. But if my mother woke up tomorrow and said, I'm running for state this or local that, I'd be like, Ma, what are you talking about? Right? Sometimes your days should pass. You should have did that shit in your 20s. I regret not having a family. I'm not having one now. Look like raising a 10-year-old at 70. Look ridiculous. And that's what it is. You see, we play into this stuff a lot. You see some of these old rich ladies adopting newborn babies and they're 60. And you're like, they just bought a baby. Don't con me. You bought a baby for your own fucking machinations. Yeah, and I get that. I totally get that. I took because they get nothing but good press. Uh, William says, I know you can't see it in the other chats if you're in the other chats. William says, growing up in Massachusetts, we thought the Kennedys were gods, and I totally get that. I totally get it. It's like, yeah, it's right next to local boy does good. Oh wow, look, he's from my hometown, right? And now he's trying. Wow, maybe it could be me one day, or well, I totally get that. But it also then becomes this thing. It's never a whole family. It really isn't. This guy may be great. His mother may be great, but he's got a ton of cousins who, you know, I don't want to say didn't do shit, but like just were everyday average dudes. Who were like, oh yeah, so and so is my cousin, right? I just don't understand. I think America has been completely subverted. The idea you should not be you an American. You should. I'm sorry. I know this is a global broadcast, but I'm on America right now, and I'm talking to Americans. Listen and have a seat. You, as an American, boy or girl, should think that um, you bust your ass, you can get there, which is not. the way it is in a lot of other countries. They're trying to be now because they were like, well, maybe we should adopt some of these democratic beliefs. Look at China. China didn't adopt democracy, but it did adopt capitalism, right? Because that communism shit was drowning them and they couldn't even feed their people. So how wrong could we be if your whole shit had to be totally subverted by the philosophy of your enemy for you to stay afloat? You see what I'm saying? So then you let them come here and live here. Like, look, what is the point of warring with these people and giving the wars to these soldiers and then having the person that you just bombed 5 years ago move in with their family next to you without changing any of their philosophy? Man, America is heading for a tragic past, a tragic future. Should have fixed his past. And I trace all this. Where did the problem start? I trace all this shit back to the Freedmen's Bureau. If you had done the Freedmen's Bureau after you freed the slaves, no one would be able to come to this country and go, I am a victim of, like the people in Cuba, which I've had an issue with for like 30 years now. I am a victim of Cuba. Now I'm here living in Florida, and I'm going to set up an apparatus and an organization legal by this government to fuck with another government. You should be. And there's a guy who lives in Queens who does it in Iran, and Iran wanted him exported so they could hang him. And America was like, but essentially, what you're doing is you're running a revolution from American soil. What? How's this even? Meanwhile, the people who here forever can't get a fucking cab in New York City. It doesn't make any sense. It says all kinds of stupid and disloyalty. So why should anybody trust you? Growing up in Massachusetts, Adams to name schools head and new police commissioner, probably Miss Carmen Best. Who the fuck is Carmen Best? Oh, he's fucking up already. This happened the last time. It happened when I supported Obama. And as soon as he picked Joe Biden, I was like, man, what in the fucking world? All right, let's put this here. Put this here. Don't bother me. I'm in a mode today. It's that car. Um, Carmen. What? First female, first Spanish. I'm done with the first. It's 20 fucking 21. Carmen Betts is an American law enforcement officer who served as the chief of police in Seattle. 2010, 2018. She was the first black woman to lead Seattle Police Force. She announced her resignation in August following budget cuts and officially left. Yeah, okay. She's another fucking pod person. Another uh promote from the inside. Former title police chief Carmen Best speaks out against what? At this point, man, fuck these people. No, I mean, oh, I'm completely tired of your rationale for the people that you pick. I don't know what to do anymore. The people that I support now fail me almost immediately. Within like 2 or 3 weeks of them winning the election, I'm immediately pissed off. Oh my god! So what am I supposed to do? Keep having faith? Should I give up completely? Tell me what I should do. Because keep having faith seems stupid, but to give up just seems like not me. I don't think Americans should be easily giver uppers. But my thing is simple. I mean, I think we know who's screwing us over and their incompetence, but we can't do anything about it. You always want to talk about Europe, but when people go, well, Europe had universal healthcare, all of a sudden they don't want to talk about Europe anymore. You want to lie about these wars. Oh, look, Ukraine is giving us 12 officers. We've got a lot of, it's a multinational, well, they gave you 12 officers. The British gave you 100, but it's still, you know, 200,000 American military personnel there. So who's got the second most? If we've got like 100,000 fighting this thing, 200,000. Who has the next most? Oh, the next most gave us 50. I mean, you lie, you subvert the truth, and no one. Yeah, I said it before. I think we're coming to blows with each other in this country because of shit that we do for outsiders. And here's another thing: a lot of people are not feeling Israel anymore. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, she was incompetent. I hate to say it, she was incompetent. I don't know. Everything, the political position, everything, the police commissioner shouldn't be. And you also shouldn't be able to have your police commissioner, your police department have subversive groups within it. Speaking of subversive groups, this judge not Minneapolis, judge dismisses weapons charge. How the fuck? You know what? He's just. Oh my god! It's just gonna get so bad. A Wisconsin prosecutor on Monday caught Kyle Rittenhouse a gun with no honor or legal authority to kill two men during protests last year in Kenosha. Ugh, good lord. This is what provoked the entire incident. I submit you, ladies and gentlemen, this is the situation. Defense lawyer, blah, 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 blah. Why did the judge drop these charges? This is, look, not your country if they can do whatever they want. It's their golf club. You killed two people, and I don't think anybody cares. Right? Women go missing, no one really cares. Killed two unarmed men. All right. Why did he drop the charges? He should have told us. All right. So anyway, yeah, Carmen Best. I fully expect nothing to get done, and by the end of it, I'm going to be really good at guitar because these people fucking suck. All right, so what do we got? I think two other cats are black women. Yeah, it's like, oh look, let's put a the amount of incompetent women getting by on I'm a lady is high. And it's going to get to the point where someone's going to be really deserving and you won't know it because they'll be lumped in with all these girlfriends of people, daughters of people, and I'm a lady kind of politicians, I guess, whose only argument is that woman, woman, woman. Good Lord, that's bad. I'm so sloppy with my placement. I'm still sloppy with my placement. All right. What are we doing? Hey, Brian, good to see you in the chat, man. Um, oh, I like the Mandalorian. I did. Why did I never notice that before? That's pretty good. I can't even like this stuff. I want to like stuff in the chat. So yeah, I have no idea. Hey, Brian, you want to come up so I can test co? They used to let you check email and still hit stream. That is gone. Really? View profile, subscribe to use and mute views. How do I invite you even up? Huh. Share stream? What is this? Add collaborator. This thing is completely freaking cuckoo knucklehead bananas. View profile. How do I? Wow. Oh my god. I don't even know how to bring somebody up with this. They mangled this. How do I? Okay, maybe if we do this, I can't even copy and paste. Uh, view. How is it even done? So if I click on your image and then click on your profile, can I invite you through that? View profile, subscribe to user. Uh-oh. Okay. All right. Oh boy. Hey, do you know how I even invite you up? Look at your manual. True. Oh my god. All right. Click on share, share, share stream. All right. What is this? Then add name. All right. So we'll. That's right. I can't copy. Shared stream. Then add name. Oh, that's how it's done. I wonder if did you get it? Oh, okay, you did get it. Okay, so we close this and then we wait for you to show up in my. Is that what happened? Did I do it or did I not do it? Oh, I should probably click add joining. Oh, okay. Good lord. What up? Good to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on, brother?
Good to see you. Um, hey, while I got you, let me ask you. Behind your name, there are three cons. What is that?
The Sagittarius logo, the Japanese symbol of strength, which I have tattooed right there,
Okay.
and the green check mark is when I was on Blab. So all the guys that did Blab, we all have a green check mark. So that way, it's like the
How
blabbers.
did you get them there? I thought that this was given to you by the app. I was like, this is really interesting. What does those mean?
No, I did it. I did it when hey Milton,
Hey,
I did it
Milton,
when
good to see you.
on my phone when we had the beta format on Haps.
All right. And I was just curious because I was like, here's another thing. Excuse me. Here's another thing about Haps. When I see stuff, I go, oh, I want to look that up, but there's no place you can go and find what that means. Like when I first got on, people had those green, like I want to say they're clovers. Ted has
Right.
one for like not clovers, they're like awards from, and I was like, oh, what are those and what does it mean? Will you? Yeah, no such love. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah,
For
we're
instance,
over here
like
talking
G
about uh
like Jeeves, right here in in the chat, Jeeves, he's a fellow blabber too. He has a green check mark.
is oh hey, what's up? I just noticed that. What's going on? Yeah, but not he doesn't have a check mark on mine though. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Oh,
Last time I saw Milton, he was doing vodka shots out of like a gallon jug, completely balling out of
yeah,
control.
Milton went nuts. It was funny, but he went
Yeah,
nuts.
I felt I've been there.
That wasn't me.
Oh, okay. If I go to your profile, I see it.
Yeah.
So I was on a rant. I can't even say I guess it's been about the rant's been about 40 minutes on what's wrong with the country. Um
Democrats.
no, it's not that simple, dude. I mean,
Well,
they're
poor
both
decision.
asshats. It's not this whole your team, my team stuff is gonna get us all in trouble.
That's
Neither one of
true.
them are serious, and that's the problem. And to
Yeah, they're
stay
both
there,
making
they
bad
keep telling,
decisions.
depending on where you are in the country, the
Yeah,
problem is the Democrats if you're in Texas, and they'll tell the people in New York, the problem is these conservatives. If you know what I mean, and it just makes more conflict and animosity. Whereas the people I think are the problem are all in Congress,
I agree.
all in Congress.
I agree. Because I was thinking of like a good political cast because I know not that many people are comfortable with it, but you know
Yeah.
me, man. I mean, I'll dive down the rabbit hole. I don't care.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I was thinking about writing up a piece because I mean, just following up on the current events and everything, and pretty much I was just gonna do a shoot from the hip. Is it wrong being conservative in America? And another segment I was gonna do was thoughts on our political political folks that's supposed to represent us.
Yeah. All right. Well, first of all, it's not wrong being conservative. Just, yeah, I mean, you can be, but what they've done is they weaponize all these factions. So you think something's wrong or someone is wrong, right? And my whole thing is there's so much goofiness going on. That shit that is obviously wrong gets, like
Hmm.
I said earlier. Well, let's discuss. It's like some shit shouldn't be discussed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Some shit is just wrong, and now they so muddled the landscape that everything is a conversation. And
Yeah, I mean,
like
it's weird.
the crime situation and like not crime the policing situation and the idea that we're talking about some of this treatment is ridiculous, right? And it's only talked about to keep it around or to kick the ball down the road because you'll get tired of the conversation. The cops should not be allowed to disrespect you because they're having a bad day, and much less murder you off, right? And then it
Yeah.
becomes, oh, the liberals want to do away with It's like no, right? It's and this is it. And meanwhile, while that's going on, the people who are playing this game are just making money hand over fist, taking money
Yeah.
from it. So it just says we're bribable and we're full of shit, quite frankly. And I think like everything, we get to a point where like the seesaw tips so bad that you can't get it back to playing these games and there's a natural correction to the most shit. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. It's just with the political landscape now, I mean, pretty much come midterm, it's gonna go all Republican for the House and
Yeah,
Senate. Nobody's happy.
yeah,
Um, there's reports that um, on the on the Democratic side, like they want Pete Buttigieg and Kamala Harris to be like the future Democrat Party.
yeah.
But
Well, we
how can
talked
they
about
be
that a
the
couple
future?
of weeks ago.
How can they be the future of the Democrat Party when nobody likes them?
Thank you, thank you.
Because I
And
think like Buttigieg is at 35%, and then Kamala Harris is at 28%. So how are they the future of the Democrat Party when nobody likes them?
right, what they're going to try and do is set those two up as president, vice president, can and no one like. Look, like I keep telling people, Kamala Harris came in fifth in this last,
Yeah,
run for president, and Biden came in fourth. Right? The first
yeah.
was Sanders. The second was
Elizabeth Warren,
Warren, and I want to say the third was who was the third? It wasn't Buttigieg. And
Klobuchar.
then they got them all to kick off, and so Biden could win because he was fourth, and then he chose Kamala Harris, who came in behind him.
Yeah, because and the thing about it is though, with Kamala Harris, her sister Maya was a part of the Hillary campaign. So
Yeah,
Hillary was Kamala's pick. But going down the line, going down the line of the candidates, Pete Buttigieg wasn't well liked, but yet somehow he managed to stay in because he had his donations. But
yeah, Wall
um,
Street.
when it came to Carolina, or yeah, Carolina, like the black community saw through Pete Buttigieg, like he's full
Yeah,
of it. We don't need him.
and that's the
So
problem
yeah, because
with
they
ninety-three
spot him as
percent
a
of
fit.
like, right,
He figured if he mimicked Obama that would sway the voters, which
right,
really wouldn't. And the thing about it with because like Joe Biden was dead in the water and until South Carolina,
yeah,
and I even made a comment on Twitter, and I got a lot of backlash because I said I was like, wow, and I thought Mayweather gave out big payouts, but I was wrong. Looks like Clyburn got big a payout from the
yeah.
DNC pretty much because pretty much like with Klobuchar, she's boring, uncharismatic. Um, Tulsi
And
Gabbard couldn't
shifty.
get on.
She's got a couple of cases where people who are in jail who may not who like it looked like
Yeah,
just like some people slept with their bosses to rise, other people played racist games to rise, right? And now,
yeah,
like I've been saying like on the show before, in the 70s, it would take 25 years for someone to write a book and this shit to be known. Now we know instantly with the internet, right?
Yeah,
And everybody's got an enemy someplace that knows something about him who'll just tweet this or you should look over here at that. And that's what got Klobuchar. And I
yeah,
can't
and
believe she's still like in Congress, but no one
yeah,
cares.
yeah. She's boring. And then when you went down to da- 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 da, um Elizabeth Warren, the only thing that hurt Elizabeth Warren, yeah, she had a lot of good ideas. Not faulting for that. She had a lot of good ideas, but I think what are your thoughts on progressives getting traction from younger voters?
I was just about to look at that.
Um, Honestly, we need young talent. I mean, the fossils has got to go. They
Yeah,
should be like everybody. If you that Congress should have the time limit like everybody else. Once you hit what was it
65.
60, 63 or
65
65, you're done. You're retired. You're done and
is
over
it's
with.
for the military too. Once you're
Yeah,
65, you've got to get a special waiver from the president to hang out like I think another 5 years or so.
yeah,
Right? But it's not everybody gets it, and and that just makes sense. Why are these 80-year-olds telling you what you should be doing sexually, right? Whether it's abortion or what's
yeah.
that shot they want
That's
to give you so you
wrong.
don't get cancer when you have sex? Like all these
Yeah,
things, they want to wrap it in racism. Then they want to use it to get stupid. Like I say, stupid people vote. A lot of these people,
yeah,
I say what I say, and I keep it moving on the internet because a lot of these
yeah.
people in my opinion, don't know the issues. They're just insult junkies, and I just keep it moving. There is a danger to that, though. There's one of you and like a million of them, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. When if you say something, and it's going to happen to all of us, I'm assuming,
And
and
and al- and
you're going
also
to have
and
to
also
take your
too,
lumps or shut your shit off. But that don't mean that they're right.
yeah, and
Morons have
also too,
internet connections.
like the progressives, like they bark. They're all bark and no bite, and
But
that's
here's
where
the thing
a
about
lot of
progressives. I don't want. I keep interrupting you. Here's the thing about. I'll say this, and then I'm going to fill my glass. Here's the difference. When I lived in New York, everybody was a liberal, right? First, you were a Democrat, and then you were a liberal, right? You were somehow a special Democrat. Then they didn't do shit, and they gentrified the neighborhood. Same people call the cops on you, like always, right? Uh,
uh,
then liberals sort of got a bad name, so then they all became progressive. They're the same. I mean, they're just swapping names out.
yeah. But
Nothing's going to
the
get
thing
done.
about
They're
it
all
is
false.
though,
Yeah.
yeah. And the thing about it is for progressives to get traction with the young voters, they need to stick by what they say and they need to fight. They need to stand up and have a backbone, because I mean, with all the progressives like in the Democrat Party, like you have Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, just two of them, and over what 300 Democrats. And every time when they wanted, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, and then Joe Manchin or Kristen Sinema said no, then they're
Right.
like, then they want to go to Twitter. Well, we tried. It's like you guys outnumber. It's two of them. You guys outnumber. How are you
It's
guys
it's
like bowing down to them? That's the
yeah,
thing.
see, sorry. That and
Like
that's the
like
thing. It's
the old fossils need to go, and the progressives, they need to stand up and have a backbone and actually do what they say they're going to do, because
what
they
they
have the numbers, but they cave. They don't
right.
fight.
What
And that's why I don't vote Democrat anymore. That's one of the reasons why I don't vote Democrat anymore.
but
They don't fight. They don't say what they mean. And on top of that, they're just there just to collect a check.
thank you. Yeah, but it's also like the system has been corrupted, and by that I mean this. So let's say you run in Texas, right, and I run here
Right.
in Virginia, and everyone in the chat runs wherever they're from, right? Pablo, you run where you're from. Milton, you run from, and we have a great message, and we all get elected. By the time we hit Washington D.C., you have to have that same fight all over again with these people who are comfortable and have been there 50 years and don't want shit changed. The war on the ground has to be fought in Congress, right?
Yep.
So the Democratic Party stood up against Nina Turner and undid her in her Democratic election. It wasn't the Republicans. And this mayor in Boston, who was a socialist, who beat the
Yeah.
mayor, and then he had a write-in campaign and somehow managed to turn the vote. That all that shit is, we like it the way it is. We will talk pretty talk to you to stay here. Like the one in recent memory, which is why I have a lot of respect for her, is AOC. She kicked what's his name out of there. He was
Yeah.
there for like 25, 30 years. You as an American citizen who knows, and this is an American broadcast, I know this is an international streamer, but here in America, you should be for that person. She is Daniel Boone. You know what I'm saying? She is like those
Yeah.
frontiersmen who, but they've got you. They've made you think that Jimmy Carter was an evil and stupid person, right? And this all started in the 80s, and how Reagan is wonderful, but Reagan had movie star chic and an apparatus, just like Donald Trump had his tweet game and all this, right? Reagan sort of had a similar version of that and demonized the guy who wanted to do well, right? Jimmy Carter went to uh, West Point, right?
Hmm.
And you know how
Yeah.
smart of a teenager, a heart would that you to get to, right? Graduated, married his the love of his life, high school sweetheart, only left the military to go back to take care of his dying father and the family business because his brother Billy couldn't do it. All those things say, wow, this is a decent human being, and we should really want him in Congress. They didn't expect him to win, and they were surprised that the peanut farmer, they were, because they wanted,
Yeah.
and every now and then somebody gets in, and then they undo him. And he's the last person I think who got in, who was undone, who was honest, right? I think Barack Obama got turned. I think if uh uh, uh Bernie Sanders got in, they would have tried to freeze him out and do nothing. You know what I mean? But the whole thing is they're run by corporatists and have been forever.
Yes.
So all
Yes.
these liberals are really just corporatists. They're
Yep.
not really liberal shit. And all these conservatives are also corporatists.
Yep.
So while we're down here fighting on the street, they're all sitting in the same building having lunch and being polite and making a ton of cake. And then when people, this is why I don't think it was a insurrection. I think it was a riot. When people ran up on January 6th and ran up in there, why all those people are going to jail is not because they fucked with you or me, your property rights or my racial
Yeah.
sovereignty or whatever, because they scared the fuck out of a whole bunch of old people on Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, and the thing about it is though, it's just we needed um we just need like strong political people. I mean, I give kudos to
Yeah, but
AOC,
they're
but a lot,
undone or they're bribed
yeah,
off, and it's
they're
hard.
undone. And now I don't. I mean, she started off with good intentions, but I don't take AOC seriously now because she flip flops and then she makes like some outrageous claim, like how
Yeah,
she okay. For instance,
she
like
did 2 of
how,
those. Go ahead.
yeah, she made that outrageous claim that that Trump didn't have relief for Puerto Rico, and that her abuela's house is ruined and it needs work, and so and when it came down to it, her aunt spoke out and said no, the relief did come, but the Puerto Rican government held that relief and ran off with the
Right.
money and left its citizens to starve. So
Yeah.
then you had conservatives like Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, everybody who's a Republican. They started a GoFundMe account, earned up over $100,000 to help Abuela, and then AOC turned it down because she's a Democrat and she expects like the Democrats to help out. But when you get the Republican side say, "Hey, we got 100 grand for your grandmother," and then she turned it down, that just makes it that's where I'm just kind of that I kind of lost it with her. I'm just like, I don't take
Yeah,
her
but
seriously.
that's not the way these bills work, man. I mean, that's a. I think a lot of the part of this problem is how these bills work, right? So
Yeah.
you and I could write a bill, and then someone else will go, "Hey, you know what? I want something in for my community in that bill, like you know, more lampshades for the something what's ridiculous that doesn't need lampshades. More lampshades for like the the lobster and tuna fish tanks, right? And we need $50 million for that. And then before you know it, that's why they call it pork, but they don't ever fix it. They're all just so I think the problem is getting rid of everyone in Congress with the or making it like a ladder. The people require that you stay because you're fucking great. But all this guy, no, 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 no. You don't just get to like the president. He shouldn't decide if he gets to run again. The American people should go, yeah, we want more of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that would work for the people. They don't work the system for the people anymore, right? They
Yeah.
write these. That's why they're all lawyers. They write these weirdly worded things that only they understand. They make sure that you pay taxes, but they don't have to, and their friends don't
Hmm.
have to.
And the,
Um,
and the funny and the funny thing
they're
about it is like,
unanswerable. They're supposed to be
yeah,
answerable to us, but they're unanswerable.
yeah. And then on top of that, like the Democrats are like, yeah, tax the rich, tax the rich. But then all of a sudden, there's a report in USA Today that the Democrats gave billionaires and corporatists a tax break.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
They're full of shit. Look,
wait, what?
remember. Like I want to
Hey,
say,
wait, you said raise the taxes, but then you gave them a tax break. That giving a tax break, that's a Republican thing. Y'all just did a Republican move.
no, that's a rich thing. It's not Republic. It's just you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, rich thing, yeah. But I
Yeah, it's
mean,
a rich
but
thing, and
still,
they're all
but still,
rich,
but
so they
when
want to
when they,
blame the Republicans, and that's
but
the
when they think
game.
like tax when they think tax breaks, they think Republican. Most people do.
Lampshades for the blind.
Most
No, and
people do.
exactly.
But but yeah, it's really messed up. I
Yeah,
mean, me personally, I pretty much lost faith in our political
but
system.
you can't. But you
That's
can't.
why numerous of times
When that happens, as an
I
American man, you have to double down and be like, especially if you know what's going on here. You know what I'm
yeah
saying? And you know what's going on here. You just can't be like, because they want you
and
to. This is essentially the political battlefield. They want you to retire, right? They want you to go, man, these people are
yeah
full of shit. I'm going. I'm not going to run for office. I'm not going to raise money for the opposition. I'm just going to go home and watch Netflix. They're like, oh, good. One less believer gone, right?
yeah.
And what's going on here is people are just angry. Everybody, the
Well,
believers, the
well, yeah.
non-believers.
I mean, and then for like the whole year and a half. Okay, so like on the, I mean, I'm pretty much in the middle. I mean, I don't claim either side, even though when during the Democratic primary, I tried to vote for Tulsi Gabbard because she's a Democrat, and I was all in
Right.
on Tulsi Gabbard, so I had to write that I was a Democrat. But then I told her like, no, I'm independent. I'm an independent voter, and but the whole time paying attention to what's been going on the Democratic side, a lot of this shady shit. And for instance, like how Joe Biden was dead in South Carolina,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden Jim Clyburn says, "Yeah, Joe Biden's the way to go," because and a lot of black community were like, "Okay, Joe Biden, we're familiar with him because he's Vice President Obama. We like Obama."
Right.
But however, a guy on CNN, when he was being interviewed, he was a member of the Democratic Party. They did like a panel, and on CNN, you can find it on YouTube. The guy said, "For those of us that are committed to the party, dedicated party, that contribute to the party, we decide the nominee, not the voter."
Yeah, but see, look, but you got to be careful about the thing the one guy said. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
yeah, but doesn't that alarm you? He represents the Democratic
Yeah,
Party.
well, every time someone says
He's a
something
part of the
stupid in the
Democrat
party,
Party.
it alarms me.
Yeah,
But it's
but that should be like that should be like a whoa. Wait,
yeah,
what?
but
My vote
look,
don't
what's his name
count?
just said the term for I think we're having stream issues. So if this kicks off, I'm gonna come back almost immediately. But
Right.
like I said, I've been having stream issues here in Virginia like all day. My internet went out for like 5 hours today, and I see you getting fuzzy and coming back. But just in
Well, you're
case, so
getting fuzzy
everybody
and
knows
coming
what's
back.
going on. Look, every now and then, one of these people says the truth out loud, right? You know, he says the quiet part out
Yes.
loud. Um, it's their party, it's their golf club, it's their country club. We raise the money, we do what we want. Yeah, not the way that's supposed to work. And when you say that, you
Yeah.
should look extra hard at who his allies are and make sure they're off the table.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then also too, just like with the whole with the debates and everything, they had, Andrew Yang had media blackouts, Tulsi
But
Gabbard had
Andrew
media
Yang is
blackouts.
bogus.
Well, I'm just saying, if they were
But
talking
you're
about
right. I mean, look,
but
okay,
they
and
want
just because I
diversity, they
believe
want to
Andrew
hear
Yang is
everybody.
bogus doesn't mean he shouldn't be heard. And the media
Yeah.
is owned by four people. They're not
Yeah.
gonna undo those people, right? They
Yeah.
they put
So
those people on, essentially.
yeah, so they had he had a media blackout, and then Tulsi Gabbard, ever since she kneecapped Kamala Harris on the debate stage,
I
every time when she qualified for the debate stage to keep going, they kept changing the rules to keep her
yeah,
off the stage.
yeah,
And on top of that, CNN would do town halls for all the other candidates, but not her, not Tulsi Gabbard. So the only way she would do her town halls is through YouTube, through Twitch, through
yeah,
TikTok, and all the social media, because she knows everybody goes on social media.
right.
So that ought to be an indicator there of the media bias.
Yeah.
And then and what I don't understand about Bernie
But
Sanders is
it's not the
I
media
don't understand
bias,
about
it's
Bernie Sanders. Why are
corporate
you going to
bias.
run
It's
again
well,
when you
they're
get kneecapped?
corporatists. But see,
Yeah,
here's the thing. They're all corporatists. So it's not media bias, it's corporate bias, right? And if they could stop you and I from having this conversation, they absolutely would.
Yeah,
But it's corporatist. It's the establishment markets. It's the New York Times. It's MSNBC. It's Fox News. It's everybody is telling you the same bullshit from a different angle.
yeah,
Um, there are people that Fox News who are Republicans. Fox News don't fuck with, right? And
yeah,
there are Democrats that NBC won't go anywhere near because it's not really the whole game is smoke and mirrors at this point. Where oligarchy run by corporatists, just like China is
yeah.
uh, an oligarchy run by the Communist Party, right?
Yeah.
They claim to have elections, but here uh, it's run by corporatists. It's run by
Mhm.
the rich giant conglomerates who fund candidates and their campaigns
Yeah, which is why Nancy Pelosi became an ordained minister to wed a
to
billionaire
marry a
couple.
billionaire's that Getty girl. And you know what? They're stupid. I've been saying this for like 15 years. I don't know if I think America is Cuba right before the fall, right?
Yeah,
Because it was essentially Vegas for the East Coast, right? You didn't have to go to California. People were drawn down to Cuba, gambling in their giant casinos with their, oh, Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball, right? And meanwhile, people in the hinterland can't eat, can't grow shit, right? And then out of nowhere comes Castro, and then it's over. And but the people super supported Castro, right? Super
yeah,
supported Castro, and then Castro turned on the people. But that's the idea. It's like people, man, no one's happy here, but the
yeah.
elites are treating it like it's a playground. Like I just said, we got a English prince living in California in the hills, talking shit
Yep.
about our system. We got Elon Musk, who's essentially a South African Canadian with his money here, telling us why he shouldn't be taxed. And now we just had a Japanese empress pick up with her new husband and move to New York. What the fuck do we stand for anymore? Are we a bed and
Nothing.
breakfast? Me, look, I
Pretty
wouldn't mind
much.
any of that shit if the people were getting stuff. But only thing the people are getting is short shifted. So now you have to look all around you and go, I just want to make sure I'm not crazy. What is going on in this country? And then you look around, you see like people who've been here for 50 years in Congress who do nothing, stay there and get ridiculously rich. You watch, you
Yeah.
know, billionaires not pay any taxes, pay less than
And
their
then
secretaries and all this. And then before you
and then
know it,
what yeah, what really annoys me the most is that when you have people that want to
as an
come into this
observer,
country,
we got an eye on you, Milton.
when I mean when you have immigrants that want to be in this country and they're going everything the right way, but because I've watched a lot of reports of why like a lot of people that are immigrants they're happy to be American and they vote Republican because on Democratic side that they if you don't go along with them then you're shunned. They want you to go back where you came from. I
I
was
don't know
watching
about
one
that.
earlier. I was
Okay,
watching one earlier on
that might be
on
one.
Fox News.
Mhm.
I mean, I was watching one earlier on Fox News. Like this woman came from China, did everything the right way, went to school here. She was sworn in as a citizen, but because she did not believe the narrative of how the Democrats wanted to go, because she leaned more Republican, they were shunning her, calling her all kinds of names, and she's like, "What the hell? This is my." They told her to go back where she came from. She's like, "I'm an American. This is my home. America is my home. I love where I live, and that's it." And she's like, she's not backing down from anybody.
Okay, but if I mean that story sounds. Look, as a former cop, I've heard a ton of stories. I've got a good ear for like the rhythm of the truth. Let's just call it that. And I think that if that story is true, you could have that same story about a Democrat who went why someone's a Democrat because they went to a Republican, they told them their ideas and people didn't feel them. So it's
Yeah,
legit. But I also just think that a lot of this is America. You get to pick, you know, your ideology and then gather with groups of that ideology. I think that's just fair.
yeah,
But what my thing is no matter what your ideology is, it has to be run through the Democratic and the Republican parties, which in my opinions are the same party. You see what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes.
And that's the
Um,
problem. Uh
yeah, because like my best friend, my friend does not vote, and he gave me he gave me like the best logical explanation. Remember the seeing those Twix commercials? Red Twix, left Twix, right
yeah,
Twix.
yeah.
That's how he sees government.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Pick a
Yeah.
side.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to pick a side, right? I mean,
I know, but that's how that was like the slogan for Twix. Pick a side.
all
Left
right.
Twix,
Yeah.
right Twix. So that's how he sees politics. They're all on the same team, and for him, he observes and he just doesn't like all the all the stuff going on, and he
But how do
feels
you
that his
stop the
vote
stuff
don't
going
matter.
on? Look, someone could rise, it could be you, could rise up tomorrow and say, you know what, this is bullshit. And all of a sudden you're on fire on the internet, right? And then people want to talk to you in the newspaper. Someone will come to you and go, wow, we haven't seen heat like this since, you know, God invented sex, right? So they come to
Yeah,
you and they go, we can run you for, and this has happened before. We can run you for president and we think you can win. Just because you've got, I mean, they see it, okay? They follow politics, lightning in a bottle kind of stuff.
yeah,
Do you get in bed with the people who you know can make you president? Because you're gonna have to do what they say when you get there. Or do you
yeah.
take your shot of going, I mean, you know, what do you do?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There are good politicians out there, but
Well, yeah,
I
but
think,
they have no
but I
power. They're
think
marginalized, is my
they,
point.
yeah, they have no power,
Right.
and
Within the party, either
they,
party, they're marginalized. Think
yeah,
about what
and
the
so
people who
they,
criticize
they don't have,
Trump, how they
right,
got marginalized in the Republican Party, right? It's not really.
yeah,
It's no longer about dialogue and conversation. It's about falling in line and then
yep,
co-signing the nonsense we tell the people who aren't here among us. But like
right,
going back to what we said earlier, you and everyone else in the chat just ran for office and won, right? And the people who sent you there was like, that guy's going to change everything. But in order to do that, then you now have to fight against 536 elected officials, and that's all we have in this country, 536 of them.
yeah,
Congressmen, 50 senators, right? 430, 486 congressmen and 50 senators. I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah, Milton. Yeah, you've heard if you don't vote, you can't complain. In communist
right.
countries, yeah, to go. So, but the thing about it
I
is,
agree with
a
that.
lot of people. Yeah, yeah, but a lot of time, you got to tell that to the hundred over a million people that don't vote because a lot of them feel like
Right. But here's the thing, when it
they
gets that
they
number,
want change, but then with all the political parties, the communist, with the corporatists and all this all buying out, they feel
right,
like they're not heard. So when Trump won in 2016, a lot of this guy he wrote a book and
which is
he
awesome.
traveled the country. He traveled the country and he mainly asked what made you vote for Trump? And they said that they felt left behind because of their constituent or the politician that's supposed to represent them
Mhm.
didn't do nothing. He was like, we've been stuck and suffering for years, and they just sit there and don't do nothing. We voice and voice and voice, but they felt like they've been left behind by the Democratic Party. So when Trump's main tagline was "You're keeping your jobs here in America," they're like sold.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, we'll roll with this guy since our guy ain't doing shit, hadn't
Right.
been doing shit." So, that's just my overall thing, man. It's just that we got to have somebody who would actually do something. At least, I could commend New Zealand on their prime minister because she said she was going to raise her campaign was she was going to raise the minimum wage, and then a year and a half later, she finally got it done. And
Right.
it's
But they
like,
have
wow,
different systems. And our system
I
is,
know,
like I
but
said,
no, but my overall point is, she said that was her running deal, and she actually did something.
right,
Yeah, it
right,
took longer. It took longer than usual, or it took longer, but she actually said she was going to do what she said she was going to do.
right. Well,
There's
here
that
when we
that that's the
run, like
point I'm making.
congressmen and senators argue over those guys are wrong, and I could better lead us at the top. Presidential candidates run on promises because your
Yeah,
congressman can't promise you shit. He really can't. But the president can, and like I said, they never deliver. But then
they
they
never.
freak you out about, the Democrats are gonna make puppy marriage a thing, or the conservatives are gonna take
Yeah,
away your right to be, a parent or whatever, and just wild nonsense. And then the only people you ever see on television is people to either agree or disprove their consensus, agree with them or disprove their consent about the other person, agree with the consensus about the other person, and disprove what the other person said about themselves, right? So, and before you know it, and that's why I tell people, why do when I love having conversations with people. I used to be a bar guy for like 16 years. I love to talk to everybody. I got into this habit of loving to just fucking fuck with lawyers because they
Yeah.
like word games and I like common sense. And they could never like their word games can always common sense is an unbeatable thing. And
Right.
man, it's you. Yeah, all right. I lost my train of thought. I'm gonna fill this glass. Can you give me 10 seconds?
Yeah, I'll give you 10 seconds.
Thanks, man. All right.
9, 8, 7. Yeah, but overall, y'all, I mean, the political world is just it's a lot of head scratching, a lot of like, what the fuck you mean by that, or what the hell's going on? Um, and you know, progressives progressives fight with progressives. That's the funniest thing. But um, but it really fascinates me how the Democrats are controlled. They have all the power, but yet there's still conflict within themselves because there's a civil war going on within the Democrat Party. And don't get me wrong, the Republicans have their issues too, but compared to Democrats, they're making the Republicans look like saints.
But they're two different parties, right? The Republican Party. I mean, look, you're not gonna get one party where everybody is. You're not gonna get
No,
where everybody's the same. So, but
right?
that's the thing, right? Once a third faction opens up in America, something tells me a third party was gonna become into existence, and then that party will just be another arm of the same thing that we're talking about, because it's still
Yeah,
the elite, right?
yeah.
And that's what it is. So
But yeah, I mean,
I
but
just
but I mean,
can't
but just
buy
just
that with
just with the corporatists and everything. I mean, like you said yourself. I mean, like how Nina Turner had a strong backing, but then the
was undone by the
donorship,
Democrats,
yeah, and the donors pretty much took her out because she threatens their way of life.
right?
Um, and then Andrew
So that's
Yang
why when
gave
they go Kamala Harris or Pete Buttigieg, you should go no. If
exactly,
you want them for me, then I don't want them. And that's
yeah,
but
and then people either would not vote or they vote Republican. Those that they're pretty because that's the
yeah, but
thing
I
what I
think
said.
not
That's what I said
voting
all
would
along
be
though.
80% of that. But look,
Yeah,
I say it on my show before. Like I was with the Hillary Clinton, I was like, "Psst, now I'm not voting. And if you keep fucking with me, I will vote against you, right? I will then vote
yeah,
Republican." So I think like 80 to 90% of people are just kind of like, no, I'm not even gonna. But now you have to inspire those people, right? And that's the thing with
yeah.
the
They're
young
not.
people.
Yeah, they're not motivated. And plus, now that like
Yeah,
even the young crowd are starting to get into the political world, but when they read everything else going on and they do their own homework, a lot of them are not doing jumping jacks for the Democrat Party. That they're not doing as much for the Republican Party, but at the same time, they're just sitting there trying to figure out like, well, they always want to say vote for the lesser of the evil, but I'm sorry, evil is evil.
that's what I say. Exactly.
Well, I'm not as bad as him. You could vote
Exactly.
for me. I'm not as bad as him, but I mean, my dad even told me he regrets voting for Biden. Even when I told him, I said it was a bad idea. I said you could
Well,
vote
if you
down
had followed
ballot.
my podcast, you wouldn't have voted for him. I've got stuff
Yeah,
going back 3 years with Ted where I was just kind of like, when Obama ran, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be great, right? Then he picked after he got the nomination. Then he picked Biden. I was like, why would he do that? Now
yeah.
I don't even like. I'm still gonna vote for him, but now instead of like 100%, yeah, I'm like now I've got all this trepidations coming with me, right?
And
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 then
what really cracks me up though is just like in pure desperation, you need Obama to go vouch for this guy or this woman. You need
yeah,
Obama to vouch for him. I was like, wow, because they think
yeah.
like, well, they're like, if anybody could talk to the American people, it's Obama because he's so charismatic.
No,
He knows how
he
to.
wasn't talking to he wasn't talking to American people. He was talking to black people.
Well,
Um,
man,
what am I
and
drinking,
but
Milton? I'm drinking whiskey and
yeah,
this I hate to say it. This it's not grape drink. It's sparkling water with grape in it. Just
but
as a mixer because I can't drink this shit hard anymore. Especially when I do like 3 and 4 or 5 hour streams. Oh wow, this is almost about to be over. Let's stop this. Let's go here. Let's hit that. Um
But yeah, but I mean, but I mean, like if they oh shit, he got the vodka jug again.
Yeah, they're like that was
Um,
part of this show. Now I can't even get it in. I'm all
yeah,
hurt,
but
dejected.
then like for instance, like the Virginia election, they all want to say like white supremacy is reigning supreme now. It's like no, the lieutenant governor is a black
Mm,
woman
but here's the thing.
who's a
Here's the
Jamaican immigrant that went the right way, and because she
What
has
does the
her
right way
set,
mean though? Here's the
I mean,
thing.
no, she was an immigrant in Jamaica,
Are you
came to
talking about the
America.
woman here?
The lieutenant governor,
Right, yeah, the new
Winsome Sears.
the
Yeah,
incoming lieutenant governor. Here's the thing.
yeah,
Here, as a black guy,
she,
tell you how I view this.
uh
Um,
huh,
I view this as someone who's connected to slavery, right? Sharecroppers and the whole bad feeling. Um, when you have to undercut me to bring, you know what it's like? The Olympics, the New York City Marathon. I volunteered for like 7 years, so I've got badges around here someplace where like I have back, uh they started like bringing in Kenyans and making them American citizens, saying, "Wow, look, the Americans won the New York City Marathon. Look at them." And I was like, "Is that even fucking like? I know what you're doing here. You're not clever, and it's sort of shitty, but it's still you know what I mean? It's like did what's the biker who took all the steroids? Yeah, we
oh,
know you're kind of cheating. We can't really figure out how you're doing it.
Lance Armstrong.
So is this even a win?" And that's where I'm at. I'm like, look, you're undermining the country, and then to stick with these laurels that we Americans used to get regularly and religiously, you have
Yeah,
to buy people who do it in other places to go, hey, don't you want to be an American? You'd be rich, nice house over here, and the ba ba ba, and people come running, right? You've got, I
yeah,
mean, why are we taking citizens from China if China is our enemy? Why are they living here? Don't you think a good portion of some of these people in some of these arenas are agents of the Chinese government? So it's all this kind of like, you're just full of shit, and I can see it. You're not even clever. And at least slavery and Jim Crow was backed by organized brutality and a sense of fuck you, right? We know, but now it's like, oh no, 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 no. You've got this all wrong. Now you're telling me well, I had to be made to do shit at the point of a gun versus now you want me to gaslight me into doing it happily when I know that it's bullshit. Like I
yep,
know, no, 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 no. So a lot of that is going on here, right? Because I really do think they're undercutting what this place is so they can stay in power of it. A
yeah,
$1 trillion in Afghanistan. That's incompetence. How come no one's going to jail? Right? Biden's kid is taking money from Russian government to what? How,
and China.
China. What? Why am I even so people aren't stupid. And I say this all the time. You may it may take a while to activate you. Like I have a long fuse. I like talking to people. I expect some people not to like me, some people to say ill shit to me. Some people get cross with me, right? Because
Yeah,
I'll go there in a conversation. But I'm also, well, not anymore. But in my youth, I was fairly formidable, and when I wasn't, I was smart. Right? I knew when to drop shit. Like the guy who's 6'4" is not going to get blowback from me. If he was like, yeah, well, the problem with the world is women voting, I'd be like, yeah, yeah, man, that's totally okay. Yeah, I totally see what you're going. I'm gonna go play some pool. Versus if he's my side, I'm going, that's the stupidest shit I ever heard. X, Y, Z. You know what I mean? So you're not just gonna argue with anybody because there is a sense of self-preservation, not to you, but also to your argument. But you just kind of go, just had the weirdest conversation with that dude over there, man. I can't even fuck around. You pull
right.
yourself out of these things. Man, I don't even know what's going on anymore. I just think that this society has stopped you from being able to do that,
And
you
then
know.
the thing about it is when you start thinking for yourself and start doing for
Can
yourself,
you turn your
then
volume up a little?
yeah. Okay, how about now? Okay, hang on. Just a moment. Okay.
That's good. Perfect.
Okay. All right. But yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. It's like being a free thinker. Anybody that's a free
It's
thinker
dangerous. It's
and
always been
start
dangerous.
is dangerous. But then they start questioning, and then when they're asking questions, they're like, "Shut up," you know. You want to be shunned for it, and that's why
Right.
you have a lot of people from all nationalities that they,
But this is the way it works, right? So if
you
you
can't
like
be a free
going
thinker.
back to you getting elected, going back, so you get elected, depending on your, and we've seen this with the Russian system, right? Hey, if
Yeah,
you really got the way the people they really like you, you could really do something in the party if you just fucking paid attention. It'd be really bad if you got shot in the head coming walking home from a, and then all of a sudden you're like, I got these wives and my kids and these wives. I've got this wife and these wives. I've got
wives.
this wife
Yeah,
and my kids, and maybe I'll just sort of moderate my tone and my energy,
yeah,
and I can be around for 50 years versus catching one at the bus stop
yeah,
from the Communist Party. We do the same thing here, but I'm pretty sure it's like, man, who is this you in a picture of this girl who isn't your wife at that Cancun
yeah,
thing? It's all this stuff. And if you're like, I don't give a fuck, then it's probably like, that girl who 21, she was really 60. What? Wow, man, that's like 30 years. And all of a sudden you're like, what are we voting for? I'm completely for the team, right? So,
yeah.
and
And the
the
whole
only
can
reason I know this
yeah,
because people have written books about dirty tricks in politics throughout and you go, and the more you watch these people, the more you go, that makes fucking sense to me, right?
yeah,
I mean,
and
how does people who follow the president around not know if Jeffrey Epstein is fucking with kids? How do they not warn him? They do warn him, and he goes, "I don't care because I'm the president." How did someone not go, Mr. President, your son is exposed with these Russian and communists and Ukraine money, da da da, that he didn't pay any taxes on and didn't declare anywhere. He's looking at 75 years all of a sudden.
yeah. And then Nancy Pelosi with her and her husband with the credit card
Daughter
deal
of a
back.
congressman.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, but Nancy Pelosi and her husband back, I think like in the early '90s, they're doing a charity for like a Visa credit card, and they got like a nice
Yeah,
donation
no,
out of them.
no doubt. Look at Hillary Clinton's daughter. She graduated college in a week, got a job, $3 million a year, and people are
Yeah,
like, no one gets jobs like that. And
yeah,
this is
and
this
then
is the bullshit.
yeah, and she's living in a nice lavish
But she's going to
lot.
make sure that you get at least $3 an hour wage and at least three hours off a week from your job in the mines because she cares about you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with. So
every
this
man
whole
is a
thing
creature
of
of his
those
age
people
lives.
over there, it's not really those people or those people. It's the politicians. It's always the
Yeah.
politicians.
Yeah, I mean, and I've said this numerous of times on other people that when we do a political chat, and I always say, people do research on the people you want to get behind,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 1,000%. A thousand
because
percent. Know who you're voting
don't go
for.
by hearsay, don't go by what
Those cool commercials that you like.
Joy Joy Reid and
She's
all
an
them
idiot. Right.
dumbasses, yeah, Tiffany
Yeah.
Cross, Van Jones. I mean, and then you got like fucking like Anderson Cooper.
Right.
You know
But
who
I'm gonna tell
Anderson?
you the same thing because you're only
You
naming Democrats. So
no,
are
no,
we
no.
doing this free and fairly across the board, or are we only just talking
Oh,
about
wait,
Democrats?
wait, wait. No, no, no. I haven't. No, I'm making my way around here. I'm working my way over. But I mean, you know who Anderson Cooper reminds me of?
Mhm.
That blue Muppet with the flat top that always has a serious face. That blue Muppet.
Who
That's who
always
Anderson.
serious
Because every
face.
time when you see Anderson Cooper does an interview, he's always this,
I don't know that Muppet.
like
Like when you
ultimate. Just type up blue Muppet. He has like a flat top. He looks like a bird, but he's always like serious all the time. That's who Anderson Cooper reminds me of. Um, and then then
Oh, you're talking about the Condor.
yeah, that blue Muppet.
This
That's
is
who.
Sam the Eagle. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's who Anderson Cooper reminds me of. Anyway, um, and then you got the Democratic side, just doing their dumb shit, and now on the Republican side, I I didn't even know about it till my best friend told me. He said, "Dude, it's a good thing you're not on Twitter because I know you would go off." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Ted Cruz, our Texas senator, is having a Twitter spat with Big Bird.
Yeah, I did hear this. Yeah, I don't even know what's going on, but look,
Yeah,
and a lot of this can be blamed on.
as a Texan, we're embarrassed. We're just like, really, Ted, really, dude, come on now. At least when you pick fights with AOC, at least that's somewhat entertaining. But you're picking fights on Twitter of all places.
Oh,
Twitter's
but
not a
not.
real place.
Meanwhile, this is it's a global pandemic, and you could probably be doing shit to really alleviate it since you're a senator, right?
Yes.
Only 50 of those slots in the whole country. What are you doing? But everybody leans into the argument versus having an idea,
Yeah.
and
So
that's
pretty
where we
much
are.
so pretty much I mean, pretty much like the only Republicans I do like is Dan Crenshaw and Wesley Hunt.
Dan,
Um,
oh yeah, that's the Dan Crenshaw is a one-eyed vet.
yeah,
Who's Wesley
with the
Hunt?
eye patch. Wesley Hunt, he represents my district
Oh,
in
okay, he's
Houston.
your congressman.
Yeah,
Well,
he's my
that's
kind
a
of
big shout out to your
well,
congressman.
yeah, because he has a military line. His family does military. They all graduates of West Point. Um, and the fact that he has a lot of good ideas and he really wants to turn everything around. He's going against Sheila Jackson Lee, who's been who's been our representative
Forever.
as long
I
as
know who
I've been
Sheila
alive.
Jackson. Yeah, she's been in Congress. I want to say for about 30 years. Let's see how good I
For
am.
as
I
long,
went to 1988.
yeah,
Sheila.
because I remember she came to I remember she came to my middle school one time, and that was like back in '93. Back in '92, '93, she came to my middle school and was like trying to give like a speech of education and everything.
95.
Oh
January
god,
1995. Yeah.
yeah. So she had done shit for our district, and Wesley Hunt goes in and he ran a good campaign. He only lost to her by 50 votes.
Well,
Yeah, it
well,
was it was it was
my
neck
thing
and
is,
neck
it doesn't matter how many votes you lost by. Like, if you want to get into this, 50, like, if you want to get into squeakers and like, man, oh, this is, but once you get to like, oh, she was semi-legitimate because she only won by X, Y, or Z, that's dangerous
Yeah,
territory. And I'm already one of those people who's not allowed to say this. Make sure. So just me, since it's just me and you and no one else here on the internet
right,
is listening.
right.
I think America fucks with elections all the time. All the time. But again, the media will then ridicule you for thinking that, right? So, I
Prime
mean,
example,
America's
prime
history is fucking
example,
with elections.
prime example, the California
You're
recall.
not first, you're last.
For think about it, the California recall.
Right. Hey, Milton, you
People,
want to come up?
I mean, you gotta. I mean, people want Gavin Newsom out, but then somehow Gavin Newsom won. He survived.
And he's such a skeevy guy, though.
But
I mean,
Larry Elder, he's the black face of white supremacy, according to LA
yeah,
Times, and
and that's what pissed me off about the Democrat. That's another. I'm glad you brought up Larry Elder.
yeah.
He's got a 30-year career of doing a news show that he owns. He owns that, right? I'm
Hmm.
trying to be Larry Elder. I want to own my content. He was, but since he's the Republican blackout, all of a sudden he's all these evil things
He's
from
a
the Democratic
racist.
Party. Who is, and I look around and I tell black people this, they don't care because they're not invested. I'm like, this must be the equivalent of something on the Republican side, right? I mean, Gavin Newsom had an affair with his best friend's wife, and his best friend was his campaign manager. How? What? I can't. Why can I trust you if your best friend can't trust you? Your wife can't. Why am I? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, if you were like, "Hey, man," like the rappers, I ball out of control. I fucking do what I want, and people go, "Wow, this guy is just. I can't believe he's saying this. I think I'm going to vote for him." And then you run and you win, and you still. And I'm like, "Well, I knew what I was getting when I voted for the guy." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Versus, I'm a nun and I'm your Boy Scout, and then you find out you're doing it. You're just a liar. So at least be the thing you are. So when you do the things that you naturally do in the environment, Congressman Bryan was seen getting a blowy from a supermodel in the congressional parking lot. I am shocked. But then I voted for Congressman Bryan because when he ran, there were like three hot chicks at the Hooters, and he was like, "I'm not
Yeah.
even fucking with these people." I'm like, he wasn't a liar though. And not only did he
Yeah.
not lie, I like what he said about schools and like the infrastructure and like all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, it's got to be a soap opera. You're in one camp or the other, and you should hate your fellow American. So 90-year-old Joe Biden, 87-year-old Pelosi, 82-year-old, uh,
Mitch McConnell.
Schumer, 90-year-old Mitch McConnell can sit here and tell you that you should not be doing XYZ with your whatever because
Yeah.
it's just the environment is so. And meanwhile, our enemies are at the gate. They're encroaching on us, and our leadership keeps power by getting us to hate each other. But the only thing that we all
And
can agree on is that the military is great.
yeah, I don't know if you follow Jocko Willink, but he just said like we
No,
need
What's his name? Jocko.
Jocko Willink. He's a retired
Jocko
lieutenant
Willick.
command. Yeah, he's a retired lieutenant commander of the Navy SEALs.
Mm.
Yeah, he does his
Lieutenant
own
Commander
podcast.
Jocko
He
Willick.
has it. Yeah, he does a podcast. The guy does MMA and everything, but he mainly does a podcast. But I have a couple of books, a few books of his, and he's got a lot. Like this one right here, Leadership Strategy and Tactics, and then
Okay.
also and then another one called Discipline Equals Freedom, Field Manual.
Okay.
And then the other one I have is The Dichotomy of Leadership.
The dichotomy of leadership. All right, but
Yeah.
what happens to those who don't want
But
like military kind of like boundaries, right? They should be allowed to exist in America. And I'm a giant fan of American military greatness, right?
I
Like,
am too.
and I have no military experience, but like I grew up watching like cowboy and Indian movies and
Yeah.
Patton, like take Europe and all this stuff. I will be that. Like I'm like, wow, you know. And for a long time in my personal life, I was like, I should do it, I should do it, but I'm such a weird, flighty, ridiculous person. I'm going to be in more trouble than not. My brother, my older brother Walter, I want to say did 30 years in the military. Um, can't. Where are you, banana? Did I invite you? I thought I invited you.
Yeah, he says he's not
Um,
very political. He used to be, but he's much happier that he's not.
well, he should get up in here so we can just fuck with him anyway. How come I I
But
I thought I took the invite. Anyway, so but it's you got to be careful because not everybody is the ideal military person, right? And by
yeah,
that I
but
mean I've grown up with people whose father was military and tried to make them tiny little military people,
my dad,
and
my
they
dad,
hated
my
their
dad, my
fathers,
dad, my dad's military. My dad's an Air Force veteran. My dad's side of the family's all military.
right?
I felt bad because I didn't get enlisted because due to injuries.
Right,
Because yeah, I was gonna be the first Marine in my family, but due to my injuries and everything, I was disqualified,
right,
and that hurt.
right.
Because I
But
really,
but
because at the
you
time,
wanted to, you couldn't, and that's different versus some people who may not want to at all. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of these military people, like, and I live in a military town here in Virginia.
yeah, I know.
If you don't see it their way, you might as well just be the fucking enemy. I'm like, that is not what you should be conveying to me as,
I'm I
someone who. But I think the
I like
problem is we're conflict driven, and everybody loves the Second World War versus me, which not conflict driven. but I'm obsessed about the revolutionaries and the founding fathers, right? Which then plays into my mindset of I know that the plays can be ridiculous because
Yeah,
we started out from revolution, right? Then we've had a civil war. So don't act
yeah,
like people won't go there in a place where people go there all the time.
yeah. But I mean, I, I really would want a strong leadership. That's all I ever wanted was just a strong leadership, so that way we know that we're okay. That I mean, because to me,
It just took
okay,
me
in
20 minutes
my,
to do that. I'm sorry.
but to
It took me
me,
20 minutes to do what you just told me to do at the beginning of the show. All right.
hiya. No, but I just really think that we need to have strong leadership because right now we are weak, and
I agree.
I and that's why I was all in favor of Tulsi Gabbard because I've always firmly believed that our American president should have a military background because they know how to handle. They have a good idea.
I
They have a
disagree
good
with that.
handle.
And I'll tell you
I
why I disagree. Okay, ahead. I'm
okay.
sorry.
Well, okay. The reason why is because the principles keep things in order. Because what are military people trained to do? You being an officer, you were trained
But not
to.
they're not all officers.
I know, but what I'm getting at is what how you were brought
And
in
Timothy
the
McVeigh blew up the Moore Federal Building. And after we were founded 12 years later, there was the Whiskey Rebellion where they tried to undo, you know what I mean?
yeah, but
I think it's a great idea, that we have a good representative of discipline in the society. I believe that we should all have at least, like, our high school years, not
yeah,
college years, but our high school years should all be military schools, right? And they should teach you discipline because some of these parents will squish up their kids and others
I
won't raise them and will let the streets raise them, right? So at
I at
least if you're
least
gonna be a criminal, you'd be a disciplined criminal, right? You wouldn't let other
yeah,
people in your business and be hurting random innocent people, but you would, ROTC from like ninth grade to 12th
at
grade,
least at least I at
at
least I
least.
think they should at least do one semester of ROTC or 1 year. I do
I
agree
think
with
it needs
that.
to be
Just
a
so
little longer than
just
that, but I don't
well
think that we should
just
only be run by military. So I think I'm
well
reversing.
I think we should just have just develop principles and character because right now with everybody too free and oh yeah I'm all about the bling bling or I want to get likes and let
Like,
me do my
boy.
synchronized dances and everything and everybody's like oh yeah that's so cool, but at the same time that makes to me I mean that's fine, but I think for other people we want to have some structure. We're
Right, I
getting
think we
way
should the
too
latter.
we're
Like, they should be
way
able to
too
do that
lenient.
shit, but then, I don't care what your political opinion is, if this is what you're interested in, right? Some of that has to go away, or you have to so substantially change your life to then be worthy of political opinion.
Right.
Uh, and this is what the problem is. I think everybody thinks just because they have an internet connection, they have something to say. And I have
Hmm.
discussed shit with a ton of people, and I have to like, and a lot of people don't have the ability to change their mind.
No.
Um, so, like, yeah, I think that's a lot of it. I think people are just squishy in their feelings, and like I said, we have people amassing at the gate. I don't think these interlopers will give a fuck about your feelings.
No.
Are you coming up,
I mean,
Milton, or not?
I think he's not.
All right. Well, it was a
I
good,
mean, it was
it was
it
a
was
good
it
shot,
was like
Milton.
it was like one of my friends in LA. He's 100% vote blue no matter who, and
That's bad.
that's
Yeah,
bad. And when I
yeah.
asked him, I said, how are you? I was like, how are you guys comfortable with California being looking like shit?
And people shitting in the street.
I said, how can you be comfortable with that? How can you be comfortable with? What is? And I asked him, what is so good about Gavin Newsom? And he said, bro, you don't
Yeah.
need to worry about California. The minorities run California. We run this. And I went, apparently not. But I mean, if and yet and then other Californians that are on here, they're just going. When I pop in, they're like, "Oh, it's Brian from Texas. How's the freedom?" And I went, "Great."
How's the freedom? What does that even mean? We're at a point now where we just take shots. I was like,
But I mean, no,
I
I mean
like the
because
game,
because
but
that
if
that
I left, I'd go to Texas. I'm like, how much land can I get and be ridiculous on? And I mean, like,
and not pay
my
so
whole dream is
much.
to start a small production house and make short films, and like I could build a lot of shit. I can't buy land. There's never a way I'm
Robert
gonna buy
Robert
land in New
Rodriguez did.
York. Huh?
Robert Rodriguez did.
And see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
I
at
mean,
the
you know
same
who he
time,
is, right?
I don't wanna be I don't wanna be angry at my neighbor, and I don't want my neighbor to be angry at me. So, but change is always difficult. I think I'm gonna end up in Texas, God tell
Yeah,
you, but I am.
Troublemaker Studios is in San Antonio.
Really?
Troublemaker Studios, yeah. Robert Rodriguez, the guy
Oh,
who
that's
did
him in his studio?
Desperado.
I thought
Yeah,
right. I know
yeah,
he started in Texas. I thought
yeah.
he moved to LA with Tarantino.
No,
He's still
nope.
in Texas. He's still
Yeah,
Texas based.
yep.
Wow.
He lives on the outskirts of San Antonio, Troublemaker Studios, and he built the studio out of his garage.
And that's how it's done. Especially now when you can shoot a movie on your fucking iPhone,
Yeah, and
why not
he does like the
imagine
latest
other kids
technology,
writing
and
it and plotting it out, and then, but people
and on
complain
top
a
of
lot.
that,
They have all this opportunity at their fingertips.
and on top of that, he's a musician. He has a band called Chingon.
Wait, what is his band called?
Chingon, badass.
Qinggong. I was
Chingon.
about to say, why did he name his band a
Here,
Chinese name?
hang it. Hang on, look. I'll
Qinggong.
write it in.
Okay. That so sounds like a
Look,
Chinese name to me, but that
look it
doesn't
up.
mean badass in Spanish, does it? It
It
does.
does. Badass of the badasses.
Badass of the badasses.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you go
Someone
look it up
starting
on
their
you.
musical journey, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and he'll do some shows in San Antonio. He'll do shows in Austin. I mean, like he has his money, so he just plays because he likes to play.
Mhm.
And
Which
then
is what
he
and that's another thing, like, even if you weren't the smartest kid, uh there were other ways to find yourself. Maybe you found that you like music. Maybe you found that you were more of an
yeah
athlete and like gym. Maybe you found that you were more of a theater person and like, acting. Now they cut all these things out. So you only will ever end up working in someone's Walmart or
yeah,
Amazon warehouse unless
and
you
and
have this
that's
weird curious mind and you chase it down yourself, which is
and that's the
easy to
thing.
do now. But your parents would generally have to instill curiosity and running after shit like that in you.
Yeah,
And I
but
think they've
they
made us a nice herd of, like, bipedal
yeah,
cattle, quite frankly.
but then you have political figures that want to help, that want to hold you back, hold you down, saying that you can't do this, but yet you
Yeah.
see other people of different ethnicities making it. You know,
Yeah.
they
Always
started
an
from
immigrant,
scratch. They started
right?
from scratch, had some help, but they made something of themselves.
Yeah,
Then you
but a
got
lot of people
people.
start from scratch and don't have help. And what I've
True.
seen is a lot of people just coming here from Europe talking about immigrants. Look at me, I'm a first generation this,
And then
now I'm a citizen, and I go,
yeah,
"What happened to all the people who were" right? And other people, like, my parents are illegal, and here I am, a lawyer. I'm just kinda like, there's something really broken with our system when there are people who are
it's very
connected to
broken.
poverty for 50 generations, right?
Yeah.
White and black, right? I mean, yeah, if you can come here and yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think we've got
I
problems.
mean, you have a lot of people that they want to excel in sports because sports is an easier route to get
Easy.
into.
Yeah,
They can make their money, you know,
yeah.
by on talent, but you got these people in power, political figures that that want to say, "Oh no, you can't do this because you're not going to make anything of yourself." They want to kind of keep that control on you, but then if you're a free thinker and you want to do for yourself,
Mm.
that's a bad thing because you're not
Yeah,
going what
free
they're
thinkers,
telling.
there's no money in free thinkers. There's money in being a basketball guy or someone able to throw a 60-yard pass. But free thinkers only get the establishment in trouble.
Right. So
So
yeah, so that was like a thing I wanted to be, is like being the segment I wanted to do, that I'm still doing my homework on, is just, is being conservative and a free thinker wrong in America?
no. But I will say what is wrong in America, all these people who are the victims in America, I don't know how conservatism has changed. Do you know what's interesting? Right now, what's going on? There are three trials that I'm paying attention to. One is the Arbery trial in
Right.
Georgia. One is the
Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse trial in Wisconsin, and the other one is good lord, just me finding out those who just kicked my original thought out of my head. Uh, the trials that I'm following. Good Lord, I'm a mess. Um, I'm so sorry. Uh,
No, 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 it's cool. I mean, let's run on the two cases. Okay,
yeah,
what I understand, I didn't read much into it. From what I understand, Ahmaud Arbery was jogging and was gunned down by two white dudes because
three
they
white
thought he was
dudes,
three white dudes
shotgun.
because they thought he was trespassing or something like
Right,
that, right? Okay.
right.
Then on the Rittenhouse, a lot of apparently he was just a young kid that he thought he's doing the right thing.
A young
From what I
kid.
under-
Okay,
well, from what I understand, he had an AR and he I guess he's doing what he was right. I like I said, I don't know the facts, but this is what
okay,
I understand. So
right.
he's on trial for shooting and killing a guy.
Shooting and killing two people and maiming a third.
Okay,
Okay.
so so I don't know much in detail, but I know a lot of it's race driven. So what? So tell me what
All right.
your whole thing is.
This is my thing. First, I'm a fan and I revere Viola Liuzzo, right? Um, and I always thought her name should not be forgotten. So Viola Liuzzo, Louisa, Louisio, Louizio, I think.
Luisio,
Liuzzo, right? Was
Luisio. Okay.
I her children are still alive, but she was like a 24-year-old white Southern lady, 24-year-old young woman. She had three kids. She was like, you know what, treating black people like this is wrong. I'm going to somehow volunteer. So during the ride, the northern bus rides down through Greyhound, we know that whole, she would get her personal car and ferry like some of the people who came down and was staying in hotels and shit from meeting to meeting. And one day she was ferrying this guy, and the Klan drove up to her and shotgun blasted her. The guy that she was in the car with her survived, but like they killed her. And I'm like, she left three children, little kids, like under 5, right? How do you forget her name? How do you then blame every white person everywhere as if she didn't exist? As if the people who founded the NAA, I think the NAACP was founded by like 6 people. 3 of them were wealthy white people, right? You can't discount that.
Yeah.
And when you didn't have a voice 200 years ago, whatever it was, right? The Quakers were the first to go, this is fucking wrong, right? And they're all white. How can you discount this? You have to better pick your allies versus, which leads me to the Democratic Party of this whole idea of, oh, we are for you, but you need to fall in line and do exactly what we're telling you. The whole environment has gotten, uh, people don't know the history, right? And
Yeah.
that's the first problem. So Viola Liuzzo, right, is in my head when I see this. The Kyle Rittenhouse thing, thanks, Milton. The Kyle Rittenhouse thing, he killed two white people, a 26-year-old and a 36-year-old, and maimed the third white guy, this 18-year-old young white guy, right, at this Black Lives Matter rally, right? So these people died for a cause that we're still fighting for, fighting over, right? You so it's how can I phrase this where it doesn't? Because I look, I think the civil rights movement. I've said it before on my own broadcast. This is my broadcast. I like the civil rights
Yeah.
movement is over, right? It's over. It's been corrupted and co-opted. Um, I think by the Clintons, which is why I think they're so sinister. In the '80s, and this is why you have Clyburn doing the shit he did in the last election. Um, and I
And is
think
he
not.
and it yeah, and is Clyburn doing anything now? Nope.
No, he just sits there for 50 years, making
Yeah.
sure that the bad thing keeps like when this whole thing happened, and I was on Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook for 2 years. One of the last conversations I had was with a friend of mine who's a wealthy white lady lawyer. And she was like, "Oh, I can't wait this is over so we can go back to normal." And I was like, "Who wants to put this shit back to where it was?" Right?
Yeah.
And that implies you, wealthy New York City person who's from, I want to say, Wisconsin, right? Her husband's from Connecticut. All meanwhile, all the people who are native. I'm from East New York, Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, right, have to move because now you want to sell to us in the first place, and now the rents are like 3 grand, right? So you have to
Yeah.
move out. But what is she telling you? Oh, we got to get back to the way it was. She a liberal, like she was a liberal. Now she's uh, what is it, progressive? Uh, you were wrong then. You just changed your name. You still want the same shit. And you want me to come and vote for somebody who I think is just bad for my community. And
Mhm.
somebody who isn't like I think Joe Biden is bad for my community. He's shown
Mhm.
himself to be bad for my community for 50 years. And Kamala Harris, who's not black, she's Indian. It's like the remember the one drop rule where like if you got one drop of black blood in you, you are black and you cannot fuck with the society. Now all of a
Or
sudden, if you got one drop of black blood in you, oh, you might as
or
well have a giant afro and let me run for office and tell you what you need to be doing. And this is
or
where we are.
to or to comedian Trevor Noah, how he analyzed it
Well,
because
he's
how
South
he's
African. His issue is
I know, I
different
know,
from
I
mine.
know, I know, I know. No, 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 no. Hang on, hang on. Just hear
That's
me out.
he's another problem.
Here,
But go ahead.
I know, hear me out. So when he
Yeah,
was doing
sorry.
when he was doing the stand-up comedy, they're like saying like, "Yeah, man, when you go to America, you'll be labeled as black." And he's like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, man, you be labeled as black." And so he figured, okay, so he's gonna be black. So he tried practicing being black. But then by the time he gets to so when he was trying to do his homework, he said that then he realized the only way to become black, like if you're mixed, in order to become black, you have to be successful and well liked. How and then he goes like Obama, he's mixed, but yet the way he talks and everybody's like, oh man, he was known as a mixed candidate and all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden when he gets elected,
Really?
now he's
I
the
didn't know
first
that.
black president. So he
Right.
said, so that's when Kamala, they're like, oh yeah, she's the first black VP. And I said, well, according to Trevor Noah, you have to be liked and successful to be upgraded to black. But no,
Yeah.
how can you be black if nobody likes you?
Yeah. Look, I give her her props. She's the first woman VP. That's important, right? But I also give who's the woman who got Trump elected? They
Capital,
don't want to give her her props. Like she was the first woman to lead a campaign to successfully elect a president. Women don't
yeah,
care, right? Don't care.
yeah.
It's it is what it is, man. It is
It's
what it
such a
is.
circus. It's a
It
circus.
is, yeah, it's a circus.
It is
If you know,
it's a
sometimes it's
circus
like
and
a
it's a
shitty
bad
magic
joke.
trick, and you're like, it's a shitty magic trick, and you go, "Hey," and then security carries you out, the Secret Service or with the FBI or whoever
Yeah,
throws you. You're like, "What?" You don't mind taking my money, but once I know what's going on, I have to leave the room because,
yeah.
and
Because once you start
that's what
paying
they
it,
do. They
so the
just
moment you
they
start
stay
asking
in power
questions,
and they get rid of people who challenge them.
yeah. So like
But
there's a
no one
YouTube
has the balls to take over the country.
no
Yeah,
because
it's fuckery,
yeah
but
yeah because
no one's
like back
as
in
brave as they think they are.
yeah because like back in 2016 when Tulsi Gabbard was like the vice chair of the DNC when she stepped down and endorsed Bernie Sanders,
Yeah,
a lot of colleagues were like, "Aren't you scared about what the Clintons would do to you?" And she said, "I'm not scared of the Clintons."
yeah, but she's not in politics anymore. But here's the
I know, I
thing,
know, I
he
know, I
did
know,
sue Hillary
but
Clinton for calling her a Russian plant, and that's
yeah,
been slowly winding its way through the court system.
yeah,
With all these Trump
but
lawyers, I think Hillary
but
Clinton's
yeah,
gonna pay.
but to your point, like how you said, like the Clintons are bad, was where when she said, "I'm not," like when her friends are telling her, "Aren't you worried about what the Clintons are going to do to you?" And she said, "I'm not scared of the Clintons."
Yeah.
I mean, that's fear. Are you scared of what the what the Clintons are going to do?
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Listen. The Clintons were expecting to die in a rotunda, have 1,000 people send flowers and write these beautiful letters. But like I said, the shit that you did in the 70s that came to light in the 80s, not the 70s, in the 50s that came to light in the 80s, 20 years after you die is safe to write. But in an internet environment, your life catches up to you. And
yeah, we
and
have
you don't
cancel
see them,
culture.
and every time did show up, she got a lot of vitriol. We're not her parents' Democrats, you know what I mean? We're not our
Yeah,
parents' Democrats who like them.
yeah,
And Biden not Biden, Obama has slipped in the Black community, and it didn't take that long. It's been 10 years. It did not take that long. Not even 10 years. It's been he left office 4 years and 10 months ago.
Yeah, and he's still like in some of the speeches, he's still like passively saying that like he's blaming the voters or why Democrats fail.
Yeah, we need to get in line is what
Yeah,
his argument is. But people
yeah,
are just
and
kind of like, "Eh."
yeah, when like one of the independent media guys that follows politics, he was playing that tape over and over, and he's like, yeah, we all know how that turned out in 2016 and blah 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 blah. So pretty much he was pretty much jabbing at the voter like you're to blame for why Trump won.
Right, right.
And the
And
thing
this is what I
and
say. You got to inspire these people to come
and
to you
yeah,
and
and then
fight it out with them. And I hate to say it, but you have to end your enemy, right? Some of these
yeah,
political careers should end. They really should.
yeah,
And then you have to take on. I mean, look, if you want to give this place, and I believe it should be run by the people. And I've always said, like, now you walk into any bar in America and go, "Who here has a family member who's a soldier?" You get a fucking ton of hands, right? If you go, "Who
yep,
has a family member who's a congressman?" Right? You're not going to see any hands in most of these places. We need to get to a place where you can do that and get a ton of military hands, and maybe in every bar get 10 like congressional hands, right? Or whatever. And people go, oh, well, in the 1980s, my uncle ran and lost. Now, I'm not saying you won, but it implies that there's enough turnover that you know somebody who ran and lost, or if it's not you, you know somebody. It's like playing the guitar. Everybody doesn't play the guitar, but if I walked into a bar and said, how many people can fucking noodle on a guitar? You're gonna get that's what you want instead of all lawyers and corporatists
yeah,
because
and
they fucking ruined the place.
yeah, and also too like another takeaway and what you mentioned earlier, like with AOC,
Mhm.
she was from working the
Humble
restaurants,
beginnings. She was the
humble
bartender.
beginnings. So people now are gravitating towards that because in Virginia, what they're trying to assume or try to false make up is you got a guy who was a truck driver
Mhm.
that ran as a Republican dethrone a Democrat, and then they want to say it's white supremacy, but it's like no, he's a lot of people want somebody from their neighborhood, somebody that understands and relates, and that's how AOC won. That's how AOC won her people over because people are like, yeah, that's our girl. We know her because she's one of us. That's that they see her as a representative. Like,
I don't think it's that simple. I think
well, no, I'm just saying,
people wear out their welcome, right?
yeah, I
And they
know, but I'm
make
just saying,
themselves good
yeah, but
lord.
I'm just saying, like they look at they're like that's one of us, that they're one of us.
Right.
That's why they gravitate toward that. That's what I'm saying. That's how AOC was able to get that pull because a lot of people
Yeah,
see
but
her and
before she got
they're like,
elected, like the congressman who represented that area was one of us, and he was there for like 25 years.
yeah, but what I'm getting at is
Okay.
he's they're wanting to bring change,
Yeah.
and that's what people gravitated towards. It like,
And that's
yes,
my point. A lot of people want to bring change, but the Democratic and Republican parties thwart it all the time. And no one
yes,
has 100% batting average. So every
yeah,
now and then, someone to get through, and this time it was AOC, right?
yeah,
And Nina Turner tried to get through, but it didn't happen. And it's that. It's like, are you going to
and
slay
and
the
and
dragon?
and that
Choose your
and that's
weapon.
what
You get this table, and you get like,
yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like how Nina Turner, I like Nina. She's very strong willed, but how she was treated and how what happened to her being clipped like that,
yeah.
that's another reason people should be more
I think
attentive
that's
to
what happened with Obama. Look, we will back you. Uh, I mean, we can't believe you beat Hillary Clinton, but we'll back you.
yeah,
But you have to pick Joe Biden, right? We know
yeah, you would
him.
have
You got to,
to.
yeah. I think that's kind of like versus. I don't know who. I mean, remember they also undid not just like Elder. Who's the Muslim guy from Detroit who wanted to be the DNC president, and they went with Perez?
Oh man.
They started talking about he's a Muslim, that he's the first Muslim. They start saying all this like connecting to terrorist shit and all this evil. They brought up this incident with his ex-wife, the Democratic Party. And then they chose Tom Perez, who's just a fucking pod person for the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
Uh Elijah
because
Cummings. No,
he'll
no, was it Elijah Cummings? He was the
maybe.
demo he was a no, it wasn't Elijah
Yeah,
Cummings.
but
Elijah Cummings was worried about food.
and that's a problem. I mean, because they, you know, it's like the rules apply for thee, but not for me.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. Like in the political party, I mean, if you want my vote, you got to earn my vote. You got to make me get behind you. That I mean, that's why, like I said, the only Democrat I ever voted for that I was really strongly behind was Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, in 2016, I did not do my homework. I went by hearsay and I voted for Hillary. And I felt like after I voted, I felt like I betrayed myself. I felt so sick.
Yeah. Like
I,
I'm
I was,
looking
I
at
was like,
this.
I was like, why did I do that? Why did I vote for her? I felt
Yeah,
wrong.
I wouldn't have
I
done
can't,
it.
dude. I felt really, really bad. And then
Yeah. All right. So I'm
when
looking at this, right? So Tom Perez is the current chairman of the DNC National Committee. He's elected to
yes,
the position by the DNC members February 25th, 2017. Succeeding chairwoman Donna Brazil, also fucking discredited, right? Fucking Donna Brazil. Um,
she's a
but
Hillary girl.
yeah, and that's the problem. Look, I call them Clintonites. There's a bunch of Clintonites all over the fucking place. They're
Mm-hmm.
in media, right? He married that Asian lady who was on CBS,
Mm-hmm.
at the White House. Don't tell me you're they're they're the parents, the godparents of oh, what is her name on ABC? I'm just kind of like, how are you serious? But this is it. Like, what is his name? I can't. I jumped to his thing to find the person he ran against, but I can't find it. Um,
And
but yeah, they
what's really funny that I laugh about is remember you a few weeks ago on The View where Sonny Holston and the other girl Anna
oh
Guevara when they had
yeah,
to step out just before Kamala came on, and the only reason why they wanted to say COVID, but it was all bullshit. But the thing about it was Sonny was going to go weigh in. She was going to go
honor
weigh in
and
on
to
Kamala
and to
about the
protect
whole
her.
Haitian about no Sonny was going to go in and ask the hard hitting questions about Haiti because her husband is Haitian, her father in law is Haitian, so she was going to press, and they know that Kamala Harris can't handle hard questions, so that's why they had
Yeah,
to get her off. And then Monday, oh, everything's hunky dory. It was a false positive, but it's just like, come on, let's be honest here. Kamala Harris can't handle hard questions.
yeah.
I
Some
mean,
people
think
look,
about it.
man. It's not the first time. Look, there was
Capital
Dan
T,
Quayle,
capital P,
right?
le plan.
Right.
We
I
gotta go
mean,
stick with le plan.
like, look, like Dan Quayle was famously George Bush's vice president, another Republican functionary, uh, never to be or seen or heard from again.
Right.
Cheney, however, you know,
Al Gore.
r-
Al Gore's gone.
yeah, exactly, never to be seen or heard from again. So they're all. I mean, she's she's just mediocre.
Yeah.
First woman president is woman president. First woman vice president is mediocre, right? I think they're trying to save her by trying to tie her to the black community, which pisses a lot of us off.
And
We've done a
a
lot for you.
lot
We're
of
not trying to save the Democratic Party.
the black
Um,
community, I mean,
no,
a
women
lot of
like
the
her
black
because she's a woman. It's black women
yeah,
super like her because she's a black woman, and like the fact that she went to an all black college, HBCU. But
yeah.
there are Asian students and white students at HBCUs. They're not black.
Um
you know,
on
you can't discriminate in America.
I can't remember which mainstream outlet it was, but they interviewed three black women, and
Hmm.
one of the women was saying that they're all undecided voters, and
Yeah,
one of them was just saying like, well, I don't know, even though she is a woman and a woman of color, I should be
right,
happy, but I'm not impressed with her.
right,
And then another black female said that I don't care what your skin color is. My thing is, can I hold you accountable?
right,
And then the third black female, she basically said that if you're going to run for office, back what you say.
what does
If you
that mean?
want my, she was like saying, if you want my vote and you're running on this, you better back it up. Whatever you're saying, you better back it up. Like whatever they're running on, back it up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how they're saying. If you want my vote, you better
What
whatever you're.
everyone believes. That's not going out on a limb.
Yeah, I know, but that was pretty much like when they're trying to do a poll, and you had like three
Correct.
undecided when they're trying to win the undecided voters vote.
Right.
But all three women, I mean, that was valid. Not because oh, she's a woman and blah 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 blah. But like I said,
Well,
the first
here's
one
the
that
thing.
said,
I think that they're trying to sell like they're really trying to shore up the black vote, which is 93% of this shit in the Democratic Party, and they're it's like your biggest weapon doesn't work anymore, right? And it gets duller and duller like a Yu-Gi-Oh blade and shit over time. And before you
yeah,
know it, like it won't work. So what you're trying to do is shore it up. But look, it's taking shit for granted. Once your
true,
relationship begins to
true,
fail, it's it's harder than it was to get her in the first place. You know what I mean? So now saving it is 3 times harder than getting the girl in the first place. So don't lose it.
yeah,
That's you know what I mean? And I
yeah,
mean, like, losing it is by, like, cheating or being disrespectful, I hate versus shit just ebbing and flowing and falling away like shit happens.
yeah,
But if you fuck it up, like cheating, and then try it's triply hard to sustain
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And that's why I think the
I'll
Democratic Party is. I think that's why I think they gave us Juneteenth as a holiday that no one asked
mm,
for. And I
no
was
one
like, "Wait."
asked for it. No one asked for it, but
People
in
want police
Texas, I mean,
reform
in
and
Texas, it's
banking
a
reform and real estate reform because all this bullshit, and he gives you a holiday that you didn't ask for. Hey, look
yeah,
at
and
me. As he
I
keeps
mean,
telling you everyone else on the other side is racist, so you got no other choice. Us useless
and
fucktards or those racists, those
yeah,
Klansmen.
but I mean, like at Texas, Juneteenth been celebrated a long time, as long as I can
Yes,
remember.
it started in Texas in 1860.
Yeah, we
When
we've
did the
we've
Civil War? In
always we've
1864.
always acknowledged it, but it's like and that's
Right,
one of the main
right.
reasons, and that's one of the reasons why I love being a born bred Texan, and I love this state so
Yeah,
much.
before you pat yourself in the back there, it was 2 years after slavery ended
Yeah,
that,
I know,
like, it got so, I mean, so
but
it's like, not Memorial Day, it's like Memorial Day, started by
yeah,
Black people to bury these people, and now it's a national holiday, and I think this is why people show up here and go, "Oh, I don't wanna be disrespected in my own country, but, oh, I'm glad to be in America where I can disrespect these people."
yeah,
And they
and and
so go ahead.
and that's why like Memorial Day, Veterans Day, I'm a big fan of the military, and again, prime example, like I tried to enlist because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to put on the uniform, serve my country that I'm very
Mhm.
proud of. My dad, my dad served, my dad's side of the family served, so being a part of the military is a big thing to me. And when people when people want to bash and talk bad about the military and about this country, yeah, I get a little heated. But it's their opinion, it's their freedom. It's freedom. It's their freedom to say so. But I I just get really fired up. But the thing about it, what annoys me as far as to now, is this whole race is everything's regarded by race. But it's like if the Democrats haven't learned,
Well, yeah,
if
but it's
if the
kind of
Demo-
what
if the Democrats haven't learned, if the Democrats are still running on race, still running on racism and Donald Trump, you're gonna lose if they have not paid attention to what happened in Virginia. They want to make up all the
well, they got
excuses in
yeah, I don't think
Virginia.
they have a lot to run on other than Donald Trump.
Exactly.
Because 'cause
So
they've got no
if
accomplishments.
yeah, so if the Democrat Party is gonna try to use that, oh, like if you don't vote Democrat, you're a Trump supporter. You're gonna lose. If you had not paid attention in 2016, you didn't pay attention to the other elections, and including Virginia,
They
you're
paid
gonna
attention,
lose. I
they
mean,
just I mean, it's not look, listen, yeah, this whole conversation tonight has been about you taking shots at the Democrats and, like, giving the Republicans a fairly
oh,
giant pass. Um,
I'm not. I'm
and
not. I mean,
my
like
con my
I said Republicans too, but Republicans have been quiet.
yeah, yeah, when the other
So
party is
how can I
destroying
bash them if they be
themselves,
quiet?
yeah, when the other party is destroying themselves, let them destroy themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea is still, even if the Republicans took over, they would still it would still be a shit show of a different shade. You know what I'm saying?
Fair. That's fair. That's
Um,
fair.
I mean, I've always said, look, they always talk about Europe when they want you to be for something, right?
Hmm.
Um, well, the Europeans have vaccines, and look at them without pissing us. Where's America should so get more vaccines, right? Oh, but then you'll go, hey, the Europeans have universal health care, and all of a sudden we're not the Europeans, we're American, we have an American Constitution, where blah, 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 right? We never changed the Constitution, but yeah, the Constitution says you can't stay the fucker forever and flip this shit. They put a limit on how long you can be president, which the Constitution didn't say,
Yeah.
but they didn't put a limit on how long you'd be a congressman or a senator. So
Exactly.
it's all this kind of like they say
The
what's best
hypocrisy.
serves them. Yeah, exactly. They
Yeah.
say what best serves them, and
My
you should be
you know
wary of
you
that.
know
Both parties.
my question
Hmm.
is how you see all these other countries, how how their government runs. I mean, yes, there are some pros and cons, but for the stuff that does work,
Wait, which ones though? Because some are theocratic and
well, I mean,
autocratic and
yeah,
dictatorship.
yeah,
North
but I'm
Korea.
just, but I'm just
Theocratic is Italy, and autocratic, I want to say, is Britain. Right?
okay.
There are very few democracies that really work well.
Yeah.
Uh,
So my
Australia
thing,
is really under a British system. Canada is really under the Queen is on their money.
well, yeah,
Um,
because it's
the
the Commonwealth.
Germans are fairly
Same
uniquely
thing with
Democrat, I
South
would
Africa and India. It's the Commonwealth.
yeah, but the South Africa was for a long time apartheid, and it still has leanings. They've only had black presidents since apartheid ended.
Yeah.
Uh, and
But I'm just saying because what you see the South Africa flag, it has a British flag in there. It's the Commonwealth.
oh, really?
Yeah, it's the Commonwealth.
But they're Dutch. The
There,
South
I mean,
Africans under apartheid were Dutch.
and then I mean, but they all come up. They have their own language now. So I mean, but
Yeah.
yeah, they have like their slang. Um, but my only thing is okay. So for some countries, if they review governments around the other countries, if they've been studying them for years,
Hmm.
what is wrong with like taking just a little bit of their idea and mixing it with ours? What's to lose?
Nothing, because they do it all the time, right? All the banks operate exactly the same because it's the best way to fleece money from the people, right? It's not like some people are giving you loans at XYZ%, and some are
Yeah,
giving you loans at just exactly what you gave them, right? But in other areas where it's detrimental to them, all of a sudden
yeah.
there's
I mean,
limits
you
on
look at
voting and when you can vote and where you can vote and how you can vote. If you're a woman, if you can vote in some areas of the world, like
yeah,
the Taliban had a military parade to show their strength, full of American equipment. I was just kind of
yeah,
like, ah. So these people won't come up with shit because it's dangerous to be a free thinker. America has
yes,
a lot of free thinkers, which is
yes.
how you get the internet and microwaves and uh, uh, VR helmets, right? But in
But
China, there isn't. What China has always done, because it's dangerous to be a free thinker there, is take this and make it this big, right? But the original idea comes out of the West. They don't come up with shit. They haven't put people in space. They copied everything, because free thinking isn't always good for the government. Isn't always scientific. Sometimes it's a poem that people may hate. Sometimes it's an architect or sculptor. Sometimes it's a fucking song, right? The the Beatles had to go to Russia for them to finally get over music being bad, and that was I want to say in '86. We should look that shit up to see how right I am. Back in the
I thought,
USSR,
oh, wasn't
not
that
the Beatles,
1982?
but that's Paul
No,
McCartney.
no,
Was that 82?
yeah.
Back in the USSR, or you don't know how lucky. But
Let me
so,
say, let
but
me say,
because they couldn't stop the inflow of like blue jeans and all, they were like, well, maybe all of it isn't bad for. Just like China, China was like, what are we going to do with this American onslaught of? Well, maybe all of it isn't bad. So they took the banking system and democracy and kept the authoritarian bullshit. And that's the like people always go, America will lose, like this war with China. China will no, we won't, because nobody wants to be under fucking China.
yeah, it was
you
done by
know,
the Beatles.
even if
It
we're
was done
less
by the
than, they'll
Beatles.
still side with us. Go ahead. It's not the
Yeah,
Beatles,
it was
right? It's Paul McCartney. Back in the USSR.
no, no.
You
It
don't know.
says the Beatles.
What is it? Did the did the Beatles reunite to go to Russia? Who am I thinking of?
Yeah, because
I thought
I mean, because I'm
Back
looking at it now.
right back in the
It-
USSR. Back.
yeah, back in the USSR, the Beatles. Back in
Well,
the
there was a tour
USSR.
where they went to Russia, and by then I want to say Lenin was dead
So okay, so on Wikipedia,
in
uh,
Russia.
back in back in USSR
He
is a
was never
song by the
invited to
English
play in
rock
the
band The
Soviet Union.
Beatles and the first track of the 1968 double album The Beatles, known as the White Album, written by
Right,
Paul McCartney and credited to the Lennon-McCartney partnership.
right.
The song is a parody of Chuck Berry's Back in the USA and the Beach Boys' California Girls. The lyrics subvert Berry's patriotic sentiments about the United States as the narrator expresses relief upon returning home to the Soviet Union, formerly the Union of the Soviet Socialist Republics. The Beatles recorded Back in the USSR as a three-piece after Ringo Starr temporarily left the group in a protest at McCartney's criticism of his drumming and the tensions that hyped up the tensions for the White Album. Instead, the other Beatles created a composite drum track of the numerous takes. McCartney's singing was based on Jerry Lee Lewis, while the bridge failures of a Beach Boy style celebration of girls from various parts of the USSR. The song opens and closes with a tape loop of an aircraft landing on a runway. Released 6 months after the Warsaw Pact's invasion of Czechoslovakia, the normalized portrayal of the USSR prompted condemnation in the West from both the New Left and political right. In 1976, backed by Twist and Shout, it was issued as a single to promote the compilation of rock and roll music. It peaked at
Okay.
number 19 on the UK singles chart and number 11 in Ireland. In 2003, McCartney performed the song in the Moscow's Red Square. Elton John and Billy Joel have also released versions of that song in Russia.
Okay, right. Well, yeah, I'm glad you read that. I was wrong. I didn't know any of that about the song, but I found what I was looking for. Even before Gorbachev, the musical barrier between East and West were being broken. In 1984, which is when I'm remembering this, the metal band Iron Maiden played like 5 tours there, and then like a couple of years later, Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, Ozzy Osbourne, The Scorpions, Cinderella, Skid Row, and Gorky Park played Russian Woodstock. Whatever. Uh, but I remember kind of like they like because I'm considerably older than you by a lot. In the 80s, when this whole thing began to sort of collapse, and they were like, "Well, you can't stop blue jeans." And people were trading like music and videotapes and like VCR, and they were like, "We can't, we can't." So they like, well, let's let them have the most innocuous stuff, the music and the rock and roll, um, but we'll still run the place. And while we're at it, while we sell it, and here comes the American democracy. So the Soviet Union is half what it was because it adopted democracy, and China is a bigger beast because it adopted democracy. But you know, I think if China was given the chance to revolt against their system, they absolutely would because they see how free the
Yeah,
rest of the world is, just like
yeah,
North Korea. So all this stuff of we're going to dominate you is not real. It really
yeah.
is not
What
real.
and what's really shocking to me is like how you know on the mainstream media they portraying like how America is bad with the racism and all this, but then you look at Cuba,
Well, the
how they're
racism is
one.
pretty bad, man. Don't discount it.
Well, I mean, I know, but I mean, but as far, but when you look at Cuba, when they want liberty and freedom, other than the Cuban flag, what other flag did you see that they're waving? The American flag.
Yeah, it's a symbol of do whatever the fuck you want. Just like
So
your freedom ends at the tip of your nose. You know what I mean? Don't
yeah,
don't get in my face and rub my nose, and I won't get in yours, and that's the magic of it. Whereas, look, we can sit up here and go, man, fucking Joe Biden is an idiot, and he should be
yes,
fired or whatever. You say
yes.
that shit in another country, and you get a
You're
knock on your
you're
door within the hour.
and you're like condemned to death.
Yeah, for like, yeah, exactly.
You either
And
do prison or you
easily
or
you
it's
got
death because
flogged. I
yeah,
could say
because they see it
Jesus
as
Christ and
betrayal.
Christianity is a sham, and no one's gonna knock on my door and fuck with, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But you can't say that. So, all these things that I we just take for granted and are good and squishy,
we
and
do, we do.
if someone said that about Islam in Syria or Afghanistan or Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Oh, that's a whole giant block of places, Egypt. It's an instant death sentence, not just from the
Yeah,
cops. Your neighbors can go, "I heard so and so say something by the old mangrove tree," and before you know it, it's like the Wild West where there's like a lynching that we stopped doing. Like I want to say we stopped doing in like the 1860s. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, but you have to watch. Some of these countries will, I don't know where
yeah,
get it, and then they
and
will
then
lap you because
yeah,
they don't have to
and
do the
then
experience. They just have to. Once they get enlightened, they adopt all the things that you worked all these years to do, and then they will lap you.
yeah, and what's funny though is like when movies come out, how some movies are only played in certain countries because of you because
Yeah,
for instance like the Hunger Games, how in China and some other countries when they start doing that symbol or
yeah,
whatever the little symbol that they do,
yeah.
all of them got arrested.
Well, yeah. That's yeah. See that you can't maintain that,
Yeah. So
dude.
yeah. So I mean,
Give me a second. I have to take a piss.
anybody else in the house? How you think this combo is going, guys? Oh man, I need to like give me a Texas flag and put it up because my normally guys on the old haps I had back there on that wall, I had a stained glass of the flag of Texas with the rodeo, but now that's hanging up in my office along with my cowboy hat. Uh, but overall, what are you guys' thoughts and opinions on today's political world? You think it's a circus? Do you think we're are we
All
going
right.
the right way? Are we going the wrong way?
These things happen.
I know you've been drinking.
Yeah, for a while now. Until it's 9 o'clock.
Oh,
Um.
don't worry. I might end up doing the same thing too in a minute. but but no, but overall though, I mean, I want to do an online poll. Do you think we're going in the right direction or are we going in the wrong direction? I say we're going in the wrong direction.
Do I think we're going in the wrong direction. I do.
Yeah,
I
we're
think
going in the wrong
our
direction.
enemies can use racism against us at any time they want. Like so, all these sort of weird little things that you don't want uh, outsiders to come and take advantage of are open to take advantage of. And then, like I said, we're a free society. I said earlier, so our enemies can just come up and fucking move here. What?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. We're doing business with China as we're jockeying again. It doesn't make any sense how we move in the world.
And
And
we
we should
spend
make sure
so
our
much
allies are our actual allies, and they're willing to fucking lose
we
some teeth
spend
if it
so
comes to
much
that.
money we spend so much money on the military when China only spends a fraction on their military.
Yeah, but as after you've seen how we spend money, don't just because you spend it on the military doesn't mean it's good. And like I don't like to
And we're
criticize
really
generals,
we're
like I don't
really
like to
what
criticize
yeah,
presidents. But
what
I had to
really
criticize what's his name who's talking about America should only have one religion.
oh god.
You know,
No.
if you do that, then you have to be the dude to shift bring the people along and then take control of the country and then remake it in the way that you think it because nothing
Well,
lasts forever.
yeah, but here's the problem though. The country was
Yeah.
founded on religion and open to all religions because this country was built on immigrants.
No, it wasn't. I've heard this before too. This country was built by Americans from Virginia and Boston and fucking New York and South Carolina. And it wasn't built by fucking immigrants. George Washington was born in Virginia, right? You see what I'm saying? And that's one of those talking points that they give you to sort of sell you like anybody just showing up here.
Who built the
I'm a big,
railroad? Who built the railroad?
but the railroads were built in the 1860s. Everybody was
I
citizens
know.
then.
I know, but who built it? Who
Americans.
pro-
Are you
who
talking about the
predominantly
hand?
built it?
Wait, are you talking about the handful of Asians that they brought over to build the railroads? It was a handful, but the railroads
Exactly.
were 1,500 miles and 1,000 miles.
Okay,
1,500
okay.
miles from the east
And then
and 1,000
and
miles over the
then
Rockies to the west, and those were essentially built by, like, rando Americans who wanted a job. Look, I'm not knocking out
and then the
what the immigrants did, but every time I hear, if America was just full of America was not founded for a place for other people to come to. There were people living here, right? It's one of those sing-songy things that they tell you, and you had better be very careful because just because you wanna live here doesn't mean you should live here. We're one of the few places that have room to grow. England doesn't have that. You
No.
have to be a millionaire to live in anything other than an apartment in England,
Yeah.
right? Australia has that. It's room to grow. It's a giant continent. Africa has that room to grow. It's a giant continent. Europe still has room to grow, but not Britain, not
Canada.
Japan, right? Not
Canada.
these islands. Not
Yeah.
so they will hit the limit of their population. China has room to grow. Why is
Mongolia.
everyone coming here and then telling you how
Yeah.
they have a right to set up their own political party and stand against people who've been here forever?
Right.
No country is founded on the rights of other people to come there. And but they people say so often that people really do think my country is founded that other people should live here. As I, no, just because and the people who show up here are the world's elite. The Saudi Arabians that we have issues with, the rich Iraqis, the rich Greek and it's just
Yeah. I mean, and then also too, like at the Alamo, like in the Alamo, there's flags from people who were documented as like they were immigrants that fought in
well,
the
don't get me
Alamo.
wrong. Don't get me wrong. America lets foreigners fight. And I'm look, Lafayette was from France, right? And
Yeah,
he helped George
New
Washington immensely.
Orleans.
So yeah, don't give me. I'm not, but I'm saying the place was fucking fought over and won by people born here,
Yeah.
and not by just my father was an immigrant, but like my father's was look. There's a maybe it's a core group of people like who were here for 400 years who are connected to slavery, as well as the whites who were here for 400 years, like mentioned earlier, the Quakers who
Yeah.
came early over, right, the Pilgrims who have been here just as long. But it wasn't for every generation just have a whole bunch of new people here. Like it's a thing we do. I mean, that's getting lazy with what we're supposed to be. And if you're gonna do that, then put us all on the same page. Otherwise, every year you water your system down, right? As we're talking about discipline and making sure everybody, even if you don't use it, if I'm a farmer, I should be able to get a PhD in botany because I like plants. Or if I'm a car dealer, I should be able to get a PhD in botany if I'm interested in botany. America keeps you sort of not at your best. And if you're gonna have all these people here who come from different places, like one of my favorites is like the Tiger Mom thing. I'm like, people aren't even coming here to be American anymore. They're just coming here not to live in where they're from. So what do you stand for? How do you make the place better, other than you being an island to yourself here in this place?
Tiger Mom.
Yeah, it's apparently how you make like really anal attentive kids, where like they're not allowed to everyone has to be a violinist and people aren't allowed to play music or go out and have dates or, those kind of people, versus on the other end
Oh.
where it's like, the
Oh,
beginning
the
of,
mother hen. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
exactly, which is dangerous.
I can understand that because my being my mom from Thailand. Yeah, my mom wanted to keep all the chickens in the hen house, and what she wanted
She
us
wanted to keep
was
all the
to
chickens in the hen house. Explain that to me. What does that mean?
um pretty much it's just, we got to do what she wants like for job like for careers.
Oh,
Like
okay.
she wanted us to be up in that upper
She's
echelon
brooding
of
over
people.
her flock. Right, I got you.
Yeah. And then and just like typical like some typical Asian parents. I mean, I went to high school with a kid that is Chinese, and like his dad, like his parents, like his mom was a lawyer, his dad was a doctor,
Right,
and they live in the very nice neighborhoods of Houston,
right.
and so it's like three of them were like he had two other brothers. One went to Princeton, one went to Yale, one went to Harvard, and that like the news did a report like how are they successful, being that they're second generation Chinese immigrants, and they said that their parents really
Didn't let them do anything.
kept them strict, no radio, no TV, not even the only time they got to hung out with
But
friends
that's
was
not
in
what America
school.
is, though. I've
I
had
know,
friends like this. I'm like, but that's not what America is.
I
Like
know,
growing up, there were stories in the newspaper of like people who come here from Iraq and then kill their modernized American daughters who want to wear mini skirts. And then the father would kill them. Now the father's doing like 1,000 years. It's the idea of like I just want to be away from the dictators, and then I'm going to come here and be a dictator myself.
yeah,
it's so my whole thing is you were never equipped to be here in the first place.
Yeah, yeah. So it's yeah. So pretty much it's pretty much we tell people in California, don't come to Texas and bring in what you escaped from.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's yeah, because you just ruined yeah. You ruined where you're from, now you're here ruining this.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because I mean, because like
and it
you
happens
know,
in all levels, like state and
yeah,
like countywide, state, and like
yeah.
countrywide. Yeah.
And believe me. I mean, I've said it a few times. It's like if California wasn't so fucked up, I'd live in California. I like I'll live in California because I love the weather. The weather alone, I love.
I hate the weather.
San
It's
Diego,
it's it's always the same.
San Diego is my town. Shorts and flip flops all day, being by the beach. I love that shit. But
Yeah.
the cost of living is too high, the state
Yeah,
tax is too high, and the government's all fucked up. Which is why I'll visit my other best friend in San Diego. I'll visit him, but I don't want to live there.
right.
But
Like, well, as a New York City boy, like, I can't live there just because I wanna see the leaves turn color and, like, hopeful for snow on Christmas. This kinda thing I can't get away from. So while, yeah, there's never snow on Christmas here in Virginia, but I do get to see the leaves turn color. And, yeah.
it's like, oh my god, it's like oh man, it's like that scene from Family Guy. They're going like, "Oh yeah, it's so nice, it's so quiet." Oh wait, hurry, hurry, hurry before we get the Northerners to come down and say, "Oh
Oh,
look,
yeah, I mean,
the changing of the leaves." Oh my god, it's like the phenomenal thing, like the most
yeah.
revolutionary thing. Yeah. Now, I mean, like if you ever come down to Texas, man, I think you'd like it. If you want to just
Well, yeah,
spend a
but I
week,
was saying early in the
if you want to
stream,
spend like a yeah,
my
I mean, like
Jeep
if you
just is in the shop now, so and they're talking about so far it's looking like $1,100 and counting. I'm just kind of like, what the fuck? So I'm here carless, and I was thinking about before I took it in there. I was thinking about the camper thing that fits on the back,
yeah,
and then I went in there with this car, which is in the Jeep dealership, and I was looking at all the new models with all this shit, and I was just kind of like, I could buy one more car and get like an upsize the camper thing. So
why don't you
I
go with
think I may
that
trade my car in by the end of the year, and as my new last car, it's still gonna be a
and
Jeep.
get the Wagoneer,
E Dude, that Wagoneer is fucking brilliant.
the resurrection of the Wagoneer?
Some of these cars were like 70 grand. I was like, "I don't want 70 grand for a car."
Just
So I think the one that
get
I'm
the
looking
mid
at might
grade.
be 50. But I'm like, "Oh, if I do that, I think I might put all this shit in storage and because 'cause I've always wanted to drive across country, but I hate to say it, I've been afraid of, like, running into cops and shit,
For what?
traveling across the country. But now with
Why?
cameras, I can outfit this thing and have it pay for itself.
Are you kidding me?
I would
I
love
have
to
a
draw. I think this country is great, but I think if we're not careful, we'll lose whatever is special about being an American. There'll just be a bunch of people from other places living in small communities of themselves. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
there are no
and
more worlds to conquer. So the only thing you can do is just sort of huddle up amongst yourself. And we already
yeah, I
see
mean,
them saying New Yorkers
there's
hate
a
Texans and Texans hate Californians and Californians hate Floridians. And so we can keep power. But
yeah, but
we have to all be on the same
California is
page
losing
somehow.
it though.
Yeah.
California is losing it, dude, because I mean, HP left Silicon Valley and now is based here in
But
Houston.
Silicon Valley has a lot more people. It's just Silicon Valley has more people.
I know, but I'm
But
saying HP Hewlett Packard packed up their bags and it came to Houston. Like their headquarters is now in Houston, and a
right.
lot of their employees, there's some employees that are going to work from home, but they're taking a pay cut. But most of the employees and
Pay cut.
everything are, yeah,
When everyone's working from home, that seems unfair.
well, because they don't want to leave their families in California, so it's just kind of like
That
that.
makes
Well,
sense.
yeah, so they'll work from home and take a pay cut, while others have fled California to move to Texas. Tesla is in Austin, and all their employees said, "Fuck California, we're coming to Texas." The Dow Jones left New Jersey. They gave the finger to New Jersey, and that is now coming to Texas. The NRA said, "Fuck you, New York, and we're coming to Texas."
Yeah, but The
A
NRA
lot,
has
a lot of
basically
big
did
business.
that.
Yeah, I
The
know, but
NRA
what I'm
is
getting at it, what I'm
established in
getting
New
at is
York.
big business is coming to Texas. If that's not a wake up call
I
to
don't know if that's a
California,
wake
New
up call.
York, and all the blue states,
I don't know if that's a wake up call. I mean, people make these moves for political reasons. I think what has to happen is you shouldn't be able to
lesser
escape the
taxes.
law, right? So the Sacklers, who essentially, in my opinion, my humble opinion, essentially was a drug ring by a billionaire family selling oxycontin and getting people addicted, right? And now they're like,
Yeah,
so you shouldn't be able to subvert the law. So the NRA, which is founded in New York, I guess, moving to Texas does not uh, escape should not let them escape being investigated for like malfeasance with the money, which is a surefire fucking way to be sent to jail, right?
well, that's why you have the FBI, because the FBI could go anywhere they
No, it's
want.
the IRS cops have cops that will fucking come and raid your house and arrest your ass. They're
Yep,
federal agents. That's what they just call. They don't go FBI. Open the door. They go federal agents. They could be the marshals or the fucking CIA, not the CIA, the marshals or the
Rangers,
FBI or the DEA.
the Texas
Right?
Rangers.
They're
Yeah,
fucking federal. They're our version of the KGB. That is our like. No one's gonna ask them shit when they come kicking your door and flash that tiny little fucking government badge at you. So be on the right side of it. But that doesn't mean that they're right, right? Because we've seen, power corrupt, and people
yeah.
will send these, let's call them honest men. Some of them aren't, but let's call them honest men to your house because not because you said Joe Biden is an idiot, like we said earlier, or I hate Jesus, like you can say in America, but because you
Kamala
may
Harris
you
is a
may have
flake.
been said like so and so's son, who's a senator, has these videos with him and this Russian spy. And he's giving her shit. That'll be on my next show. Then that night you will be fucking raided. It's that kind of shit where it's like,
Yeah,
oh, we're just even if we're wrong, but which we won't be, because like the
yeah.
age of like Dr. King and Malcolm X and all these people don't rise anymore because once you come to people's attention, the first thing they do is they run some shit on all your technology, right? That you don't even know about. And they know if you're serious or not. And they bounce it out with
Yeah.
what you say to your family, what you say to your homies, what websites you're visiting, if they're cheating on
Cancel
somebody.
culture. Yeah, and cancel culture was spend the time to go through like 20 years of
Yeah,
tweets.
but even that will get tired. It's like, you know what, that's gotten tired, like, every now
But
and
they'll
then
do it.
you
They'll
see
do
these
it and
mili
use it
no,
as a
you're
weapon.
not wrong. You're not wrong. But every now and
Yeah.
then you will see these military guys, like, in uniform surprise their kids, and then eventually people are just kinda like, "Yeah, I seen that," so they don't show it to you anymore. This will be the same thing, right? Eventually, they'll be like, "Oh, he says this, but he's cheating on his wife," and people are like, "Oh my god." Eventually, that will get tired, and people are like, "I don't care if he's cheating on his wife. I like his argument. I just want you gone." And
Yeah.
that is where I think we're going, right? So it eventually, you know, like I said, Dr. King doesn't rise anymore I guess until he does, where people just kind of go, "Yeah, I don't care. I'm voting for Brian. I don't care what, but he doesn't like puppies. I don't care. I'm voting for him anyway. I like what he said about healthcare and like
Yeah.
taxes and
And that was how Youngkin won because
yeah,
Democrats they're all going on that, oh, he was endorsed by Trump, racism,
yeah.
racism,
They
blah blah
hadn't
blah
they didn't
blah.
have an
While
argument. I
they didn't
agree.
have an argument, while Youngkin said, hey, we need to fix our education system, and everybody said yes. Black mothers, white mothers, Asian mothers, Hispanic mothers,
That's
like
not
all.
exactly what happened here. Um, Youngkin, first of all, Youngkin is worth like $500 million, right? He's another one of
Yeah,
these money rich guys. It's like we were talking about Yang earlier. Why I don't trust Yang. Yang didn't run for office for you. Yang ran for office after having spent all this time on Wall Street making a ton of fucking money. Um,
well,
so
yeah, he
like
did
these people don't run for
entrepreneur.
office for you. They run for their own like
Yeah,
self-aggrandizement.
but I mean, but
Uh,
when he
and since he didn't get
when
elected
he
for
ran
mayor, for
yeah,
president, he didn't get elected for mayor. And now he's starting his own political party. Uh,
but when you watch
Beto
the stuff
O'Rourke
that
is
was
running for
going on,
governor in
when
Texas.
you watch the stuff in New York though, when they were bashing like own Democrats are bashing them.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, what does that tell you?
Well, yeah, it's the whole Nina Turner thing early, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they want to keep their power structure on this thing, and I don't think they're going to
Why
be able.
and that was the one thing that I asked my friend that lived down in LA. I said, "How can you support a party that treat their own like shit?"
But but see, both parties do that though. Both
Yeah,
parties
but
treat
it's
their
not
own constituencies poorly.
but you don't hear it aired out. The only thing on the Republican side is like the
No, you
whole
do. You're hearing
Trump.
it aired out now in the
Yeah,
Democratic Party,
yeah,
but it was
yeah.
aired out
But
in the
on the
Republican Party under
on
Trump,
the Republican side, yeah, on the Republican side, yeah, because of Trump yeah,
right?
but it's more evident on the you see more what I'm getting at
Well,
is you see more on the Democrat side than you see on the Republican side. Yes, both sides have their issues,
no, 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 no.
but
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying now you see it with the Democrats, but earlier you saw it with the Republicans, and still,
yeah,
but who has power? The people in power essentially get written about.
yeah. I
And
mean,
that's what's going on here.
when
So,
Trump
and
was
and earlier
president,
we said, you let your enemy destroy themselves, essentially, right? So the Democrats are making all these mistakes. You let them make these mistakes, but then when the Republicans get power, they fuck it up too, right? And you can have
yeah.
the same argument. Is my point.
And the thing about it is, and we both agree, we
Mhm.
need the fossils out.
Yeah, yeah, we need term limits. We need after you've been in office, uh, a party to come through and look at what you did and who you met with. So you have to. I mean, there's no faith in it, and the problem is they're like, well, we don't give a fuck that there's no faith in it. We're in charge. It's that power does not seat itself.
Yeah,
Everyone else is beholden to somebody. Somebody can come by and knock on your door and arrest you. But once you get in that rarefied air where you make the laws, the same Congress that said Trump wasn't above the law are now saying that they're above the law, right? It's just it's fuckery. Uh,
yeah. It is fuckery, and I said it a couple times on when TJ was around
mhm.
because he was asking like in the political world, why do people flock to Democrats versus Republicans? And
Well, that's the nature of people, right?
my only theory is
Conflict
that
and tension.
my
If you
only
had
theory is
two
that
people, they will take two different sides of an argument.
here's my thing. Well,
Once you
here's my
have two people, you have
here
an argument.
here's my take on it.
Yeah.
The Republican Party is the lunch menu, and the Democrat Party is the dinner menu. You have more options that people like. Oh, I like that. Oh, oh, they have this. Oh, oh, oh. It's more enticing
That's a really good
versus
example.
the Republican Party is like, yeah, we got your grilled cheese sandwich, we got your club sandwich, we got your noodle, we got
You
your
can have a
soup, we got your
hamburger, you can have a
chili.
shake
You
or
got
a
hot,
Coke or
yeah,
some water.
yeah. Just it's the lunch menu.
Right.
So it's
Right.
like you already know what you already know what they're
That's
about.
a really good example of what's going on here.
Yeah. And why a lot more people flock to Democrats because, oh, what on this page? Oh, look, I'm on page
Yeah.
3. Look, salmon,
A
salmon and skin.
chocolatini? You're
Yeah,
like,
look,
yeah,
look at all these
who would make a
options.
fucking martini out of chocolate? Who? The Democrats. Yeah, I think that might be the best shit I think I've heard politically in like 2 years. That's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, it's a dinner menu and a lunch menu.
yeah.
That's amazing.
That's the best way I could understand why a
That's
lot
I
more
think that's
people.
perfect. I think that sums it up so nicely, so succinctly, so easily understood by everybody who hears your example of it. It might be the perfect example of how the Democrats and the Republicans are different. Wow. But at the end of the day, they are all still armed of the same
Yeah,
beast, which is corporatist elitism.
yeah,
People who don't pay taxes don't fight these wars.
yeah.
Don't want you to make more than $3 a week.
But overall, though, it's like if you want my vote, you got to show me something.
Yes, yes.
Because
Or I will find someone else to show me something. It
until
doesn't have to be
then,
for you, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
until then, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I the only Democrat I really supported was Tulsi Gabbard, and look how she was treated by the Democrat Party because she threatens the Democrat Party way of life. And so now that she's
She wasn't
which
the only one though.
Well,
But she,
no, no,
like I
no.
said,
I'm
well,
just
think
I'm
about
just saying now.
Tulsi.
I'm just saying now because now she's making more appearances on Fox News, and now people think like, oh, she's grifting over to the Republican side. And to me, I mean, on some things I don't agree with her on, but there's more things I
She
do
might be
agree
a
with.
spoiler. She might be a spoiler in 2024. But here's her problem. She's from Hawaii. It's an ultra small uh group of people. And for her to go from her home state, home district, it's not her home that she resigned it, home district anymore. It's easier to live in New York and then go to Jersey or Washington or Virginia. It's hard to keep flying into not the continent proper, the mainland proper. I think they call us the mainland, right? That's
The
what they call us,
mainland, yeah,
right?
the mainland.
And then you would have to block out a giant amount of time to travel to all these places for you want to go home where you're comfortable with all your things and your family and your friends and your stuff is.
I will commend her that she's been doing it for 8 years because she's like doing the politics, and then she's an Army Reserve, still serving the Army.
Right.
It's like how I was like, how do you balance that shit?
She's an ex-congresswoman. I mean, it's not like she's in there
Well,
slicing
yeah, but
potatoes.
now,
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure she's fairly black.
now that she's no longer in Congress, now she's
Right.
doing her reserve, and she's doing more time at home now. But beforehand, for 8 years, serving the military, being a congresswoman, and then flying back home. She said at times where if she couldn't go back home, she'll go to like Virginia Beach or or go down to Florida and go surfing
Nice. Yeah.
because at least down there, like along the coast, but as long as she's by the water, it's her therapy.
Right.
So I will give recruiters on that, um, but I think like in 2024, I think she may run, but I don't know if she still wants to carry that Democrat banner or she may go
Mm.
independent.
No, but that'd be a shot against her, right? And she's military, so right. So she doesn't have this energy of like being deployed. She'd have to make a giant show of it, right? There had to be
Yeah,
like she'd have to come out like the gays come out of like at like the a Republican nominating convention for somebody, and then she'll go, "Why I left to do," like that kind of
but
thing.
but
Colin
what's
Powell
funny,
did that.
but what's funny though, even Marianne Williamson said she said like she's a Democrat, but yet she gets so much hate from the Democrat people. But she
Yeah, I
said,
don't think that's true, man. You keep
but
saying
no,
that. I
no,
don't think
she
that's
said
true.
no, but she said no, but she said this like on a hot mic. She didn't know her mic was on, but she said like it was so weird. They were on a commercial break. She said it's so weird that like my fellow Democrats they're mean to me, but the Republicans they welcome me. They say, "Hey, how you doing?" They're nicer to me. And she was like, "How?" She goes, "How weird is that? I'm a Democrat."
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know the quote, but
If you're not with
I
us, you're
think I
against
think
us.
once you become an insurgent within the party, they get rid of you,
Yeah.
right? Uh, they all want to become, and I think this is why, like, once you win it, if you win it, because you can only war with them from with there. You can't work from outside. They'll send the FBI after you. So once you get elected, then you have to get a team like of good
And
tacticians and
and
fucking
then and
like
then
the
also too,
squad was just kind of like the PTA party. I was bored with them from the fucking start.
yeah.
I knew they weren't gonna do jack shit, right?
But
And like
but
Anthony Weiner, who everyone there is a lawyer, if they leave Congress, they get to go back into practice and make money per hour, 1,500. He wasn't. He's not a lawyer. So after he goes from Congress, what is he gonna do? Just like her, she was a bartender. After her congressional, so I'm pretty sure they were like, that's why they're all lawyers.
she'll be on Dancing with the Stars. She'll be on some type of celebrity bullshit.
I don't think so. I think she'll end up with a podcast. Those days are over. Celebrity Dance with the Star. I think she'll end up with a political podcast, which is
I
reasonable and
I
not
highly doubt it.
disrespectful and
I
not
highly doubt
say,
it.
"Oh, really?" Yeah,
A-
I mean,
AOC doing a
she got elected to
podcast.
Congress. It's not easy.
Yeah, I know it's not easy, but her doing a podcast,
Yeah, podcasts are easy. I'm doing one, right?
I'm
And
doing
she'll
one.
have a million followers on her Twitter cast, right? And that
Yeah, but
plus
we don't have
her
that notoriety though.
right, and
We don't
that's
have
my
that
point.
backup.
So she doesn't
We
have
don't
to
have
do
that
Dancing with
backup.
the Stars.
Yeah.
That's my point. She doesn't have to do Dancing with the Stars. She'll do a podcast, and she'll be advertised by people who once ran her and all these Latina groups and lady groups and Spanish groups and liberal groups on her podcast
Yeah.
and talk to all the liberal people who want to be Congress. And before you know it, she'll be worth $100 million.
Yeah.
And that's the new way of doing this thing. Um,
I mean,
but I
but
think
I mean,
before that
but
happens,
listening,
she wants to stay there as long as possible.
I could tolerate her 5 minutes of talking, but if she does a podcast and does it for an hour, I'm gonna really be
But you're
turned
not her
off.
market.
I
You're
know.
not her market, right? Her market could listen to her talk for 3 weeks at a
Just a mind.
stretch,
Yeah, yeah,
and yeah.
she has a bet.
I
She
would be
does
like,
have a large massive following.
yeah, AOC, I'm out. I'm done. I got but there'll be 1,000 women on your how dare you? It's men like you who hate the, and you'll be like, why did I even? But so you don't watch, and I won't watch, but there'll be 10 million women who watch nightly out of this
Yeah,
nation of
what
350 million
really
people.
what really annoys me though, whenever she does her Instagram live or her TikTok, where she's always like, she goes normal camera and then zoom in on her face, like on some words, like "What are you thinking?" And then she talks, and then I said what I said. It drives me up the wall when people do that shit.
Oh, I haven't seen any of her of her podcasts,
Yeah,
or
she has like
her.
she has subtitles and everything, and then when you see it, it's
Well,
like
she's
it's
got a
always
team. She's a congresswoman. She has a
yeah,
team of people helping her put this. She's not doing it with her husband at the kitchen table.
no.
I'm pretty.
Oh, jab at
You
Tulsi
know
Gabbard.
what? No. What did Chelsea Gabber do at the kitchen table? I'm just saying
Her
she's
her
a
her her
sitting
her
congress.
husband her husband is a cinematographer, so all of her ad campaigns, her
Okay,
husband does all the ad campaigns while she does all the talking, when she does the interviews,
but he's a
when she does it.
cinematographer.
Yeah,
That's perfectly legal.
but I'm just saying they're doing it from their house. So he
Oh, okay.
said sitting on their table at their house, do like, oh, that's a jab at Tulsi Gabbard because she has like a little background. She has a green screen in her room in her office
Right.
in Hawaii, and her husband props up the camera and pretty much he's a cinematographer and does go. He sets up all the production. So when you see Tulsi Gabbard being interviewed on TV, how it looks so good because
But a
she's filming it.
cinematographer. Okay, I've worked in film. A cinematographer goes to locations.
They'll be
How
in the
do you have a
backyard.
green screen up? That sounds more like post-production editing tricks.
I
I
know,
thought he was, like, shooting around her
but
house
her
with his,
husband.
like, cinematography skills.
Yeah, I mean, like she'll be in shorts, like above the table. She'll be wearing her business jacket. When the camera's off, all right, let's go grab the boards and let's go.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay, I thought he was
Yeah,
doing green screen with her. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know, man. Hmm, green so wait, I'm still slightly confused. I think alright, never mind, forget it. Alright, so
The tree doesn't fall far from the nest, now does it?
yeah, uh, so so oh, wow, okay, we've been streaming for a good while now, since 6:30.
I
We're
know.
coming up on,
2 hours.
9 yeah, it's been 2 hours, about 9:35. Um, I could talk a little longer if you want to.
Yeah, yeah. Like stuff like this, we could talk for a good while. I mean, what we did, what 6 hours one time?
Yeah, before they change the whole what do you think about
Yeah.
this whole new tell us about this. What do
Um,
you think about the new setup?
I think of it as like trying on a new pair of shoes. It's uncomfortable, but once you break it in, it'll feel all right.
Well, see, I don't wear uncomfortable shoes. I find them comfortable.
It's the analogy. It's like just,
Yeah,
you put it's like trying on a new pair. Yeah, okay. You don't I mean,
I
there's still
think
some stuff to
I
work
think
out, but
there's a certain
I think
amount of
overall it'd be fine.
I think all these platform people should realize that your user base shouldn't be offended like this. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
that's like
I
with
mean, you're not
anything.
the pharaoh,
Change.
and we have to do. People can go to other places, right? So maybe being, mm, mm, what's the word?
I
Because
I understand where people are coming from, but you got to look at it this, okay? This is probably for some odd time because remember that the version one was a beta, so
right, right, right.
it's just a test run. So when you do studies, it's a good while where they're like, okay, what works, what doesn't work. So
Right.
from the way
But
I
my
see the
question
layout,
then would be, you try this out on a small percentage of your entire base before you unload it on everybody, right? And my first criticism was really simple, right? Why can't I like a comment? Why can't I um, hit it with, at least with an emoji? Emojis have been around for 20 years, right? I
yeah.
can't hit it with an emoji. When I'm talking serious stuff, the only way you can like my thing is with a heart. So if I'm talking about that young woman YouTuber who was murdered, I'm like, and she shouldn't have been murdered. And then a giant heart goes floating by like it's Valentine's Day. I was like, some of this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
I think they're trying to, I don't know, I could be
but all
wrong.
that should have been tried on a small base of people.
Pablo, if you're listening, I I mean, because before Haps and everything went live stream,
Yeah,
um, with when Periscope was doing live stream, we had Blab, and Blab was pretty much where everybody's go to was, other
right.
than Periscope. So, but what the cool thing with Blab was you could go up to 4 people live at one time, just like how we are right now, without the flashing lights to indicate that we're talking. But
Right.
you could go up to 4 people and you have a chat room, and you could have people listed as a
See, that
host,
sounds great. You
and
know,
uh,
these right.
and Blab was around for a good while until they finally ended it because they wanted to make it. They wanted to do a better version, but they didn't figure how to push it, or I don't know if they had enough financial backing to
Look,
upgrade it. But
here's where I associate this, right? As an old man, look at all the gray hairs, right? I said it yesterday.
yoo-hoo,
It's like going, "Hey, come
yoo-hoo.
here and drive this car." Okay.
Okay.
All right. So it's like, "Hey, come here and drive this car." And you go, "Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, wait. I think, oh, this is a bigger car than I'm used to. But hey, look, wow, an F-150 closed cabin. I've finally think I got it out. I figure out, I know, oh, wow." And then like 6 months later, it's like, "Hey, drive this car," and all of a sudden it's one of those tiny mini Coopers. You're like, wait, what happened to the big thing you gave me, right? So now you're in
Yeah.
something totally and completely different, and this one's a stick, and it's only AM radio, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's like a convertible, and the other one's hard. So okay, so fine, you get used to that. What's next? Hey, try the, and it's now it's a scooter, and you're like,
Well,
you can't. I mean, your user base is important to what you're trying to do here. You can't offend them. And
yeah.
I
Well,
kind
I
of
mean,
feel personally offended by some of
I get
what the
that.
drama here was. Uh, and like I was
I get
telling Jay,
that.
I invested like 6 months into this thing. You know, I know you were starting something, it was beta, and I appreciate that. But I did invest every day 6 months, even my weekends, my getting up on Sundays early, right?
Yeah.
And then you sort of update it in the afternoon where I can't do a show, which breaks my streak. And then it's replaced with something that's just sort of hard to comprehend. Um, so all of those things, and it's funny because I was reading the terms of service like I want to say 4 days ago before this whole thing happened. So I mean, I get change and changes, but I just think
Yeah.
that it's what it always is. The companies and corporations will fucking sort of disrespect the people that they're sort of should really try to cultivate, even as you don't give them everything they want. No, you shouldn't
Yeah.
offend them so brazenly. Um,
Well, I mean, we're still in the early stages of it, but I mean, to me, I mean, it's I'm fine. I'll just utilize what I have. I mean, I'm not. I
right,
mean,
right,
I
right,
don't.
right, 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 right.
I mean,
No,
I
I'm just
don't.
maybe I'm talking out
I'm no.
loud.
I know a lot of people are talking about their followers because they're linked up to like their social medias and shit,
Yeah.
and the whole thing like you can't broadcast unless you got 10,000 followers. I mean, I'm basically everybody who subscribes to me just mainly on this alone.
Mhm.
I have 266 followers last I counted, but it's all here.
Right.
I did away with my Instagram, I did away with my Facebook, I did away with my Twitter. Now just imagine with the followings that I had on that, if I incorporate all that here, maybe I could probably crack
But that's the game in the modern era,
1,700.
right? I
Yeah,
mean, that's
but
the game
but
in the modern era.
but
So you
I
wanna
think a lot of
broadside
people.
and
I think a
giant
lot of
followers every place.
yeah, but I think a lot of people, because they have all those other platforms, that's mainly what they really rely on to have like their following to help build their brand. I
Right.
understand that wholeheartedly. But the thing about with this, I mean, yeah, we're still in the early stages. We're still trying to get used to it. But the thing about it is for me, I'm pretty much my whole life story is I utilize what I have. And so even though, yeah, we're limited to talk to up to four
Yeah, no,
people,
I
which
see
I'm
what you're
fine with.
saying, but I'm not
I'm
so much
I'm
talking
fine
about
with.
utilizing what you have. I'm just talking about how to roll out something on a user base that is supporting your
Yeah.
product.
I know some of the stuff ain't popular, but
And that's what I'm saying.
um I know some stuff ain't popular, but I mean, but the thing about it is, it's like, hey, you still have the people who you follow that watch you. You still
Right.
have that, so that's not, okay. Yeah, you can't do the whole widescreen. Okay, fine. But what's more important? What's more important? Having the widescreen or having your audience? What's more important?
Yeah, but here's my thing.
Having an audience is more important to
Here's my
me.
thing. And we're not all the same. At least we had a choice, right? And what was the
Yeah,
popular choice? The popular choice was landscape. So you can't discount that. And when people shoot video in the world and they shoot it like this on Facebook, people always tell you next time shoot it like this, right?
right.
Landscape. Um so when now that you can't do that, and then on top of that, you can't call in another image, so you can't, so all these
Yeah,
things are just kind of like the one of them would
yeah,
have been okay, two of them would have been like, sheesh, all right. Three of them was like really three strikes and you're out. But five of them, you're just kind of like, oh fucking come on, people, are you serious?
yeah.
Right? And then you roll it out in like at like 5:30 Eastern time. This should have been done between like midnight and 5 a.m. Uh and I know
Well,
that they're
I
in
mean,
California, but
yeah.
midnight to 5 a.m. West Coast time would be somewhere around
Yeah, it's
if it's
5:45 right
10
now.
here, so your midnight to 5 a.m. would have been 2 in the morning to 7 here. It was still
Yeah.
just it was just ill. It just seemed
I mean,
ill rolled
but
out.
I mean, at least on the plus side, whenever they do
Yeah.
like their town hall deal, I mean, at least they broadcast that and let everybody know what's going on for those that are real
Yeah, but
dedicated.
that's
But
the
I mean,
least they can do, isn't
yeah,
it?
I
Isn't
know,
that
I
the
know, I know, I
least they
know,
can
I
do?
know, I know, I know. But I'm just saying,
Man, they're
but
lucky I don't show up
what
in
I'm
these
saying,
town halls because man, I'd burn their house
what
down. Um,
what I
I
mean,
wish
but
that
what I'm
else.
getting at is you still have your same broadcasters, you still have your audience. I care about that more than, okay, so I don't have landscape. Okay, fuck it. I utilize what I have. I have my followers. We
Right,
talk about stuff, we interact, and people love the interaction. I think that should be more the focus, that we still have our interaction versus the fancier shit.
right,
I mean,
right, right,
yeah,
right.
I
Oh, so
and,
you
and
think that's see, I don't think that but that I don't think that's a
I get,
fancy
I mean,
shit. I think
I
emojis are
got
a
annoyed.
staple
I mean,
of
I mean, I
communication.
got
Think being
annoyed.
able to pull up the comments on screen so people can see what you're reading was
Yeah,
genius. So I could see why you get
yeah,
rid of but,
yeah.
like, in order I can't show someone a quote is sort of my show
I
was
know, but
basically political.
but that's what I'm saying. Okay, like I got frustrated just because I can't do a presentation. Like I can't show the links like I used to do when I would
Right, right,
tag
right.
you in a link, like
Right,
YouTube shit that I come across. Yeah,
right,
okay, that's a little annoying. But however, though, it's like I could at least, if I wanted to show it, hey, I have YouTube right here. I could just do this. Watch,
right,
people.
right, right.
I can make do I can make do with what I have. And I just think that, we just need to go ahead and just focus on the main important thing. We're still here, we still have our audience, and that's what's more important.
Guess that's true. Maybe
We're so
maybe
we're fucking
always look
Americans.
on the bright side of life, as the song goes, right?
Exactly. Don't worry. In no time, when everything gets situated, we could go back sipping our lattes, our cappuccinos. But right now, you got your whiskey. I have my rum. We have our audience. We're interacting. Hey, we're good.
Yeah,
Cheers.
it's a pretty good Monday.
Yeah,
L'chaim, baby.
cheers. L'chaim.
Uh,
Yeah, we got to remember the foundation, the interaction, the talk. I mean, and then another cool thing I really missed about Blab was when you logged on. It was a free account. When you go into the lobby, you had categories: entertainment, food, um, alcohol. You had movie
Mhm.
critics. You had your own chat. You had a room to go to and be a part of that group, which was cool. Which was
Okay.
funny thing. Which was funny because when they did the revamp of this, it's like, what's your interests? Fashion, sports, you know, news, and all this other shit.
Right.
I clicked on those. So I think they're taking that into consideration. And I think they're still trying to get it. I mean, if it came close to somewhat of a Blab and a Hap setup, I think that'd be beneficial.
Right.
Because and then the cool thing about Blab though, I mean, like I would talk like how I am now, like I'll talk about a spectrum of things, but on a Friday night, I was like the Friday night lounge hangout where everybody could just sit and chill. We could shoot the shit, just relax and unwind. And people pretty much, I mean, I had a room that I made other people host that when I left somebody else in charge, and I went to bed. I went to work. I get back on, it's still going.
See, yeah, that's classic YouTube. That's back in the old Joe Rogan
That was
days when he was on
that was yeah, I
show
mean, but that
4.
was yeah, this was like 2016. This was 2016. So, like people like Janae, Jeeves, a couple other people, we were on Blab and we loved Blab. And then when
Right.
Blab went away, we're like, no, we have to sell for Periscope now.
So you guys are true believers. You guys should get a, if this used to be Blab, but then it was Periscope, and now it's Haps. And by the way, I'm streaming to YouTube and to Twitter.
Yeah,
And now it's Haps TV. I like shouldn't I mean like you're one of the diehards. They should acknowledge that, right? And I
yeah.
think this is what it is. Um,
And
I
I
just
think
think
that's
that
cool. You have
they get so
other
focused on themselves that they lose sight of like all those people who are using their platform to try and it's like an instrument. They make an
yeah,
instrument and you picked up their instrument and was like, ooh, yeah, nice. Ugh, that's not good. Right? But if you even tried to stroke this thing and the neck broke off, or you'd be like, oh, but if you had one of their instruments and it was good and you loved it and then you went and tried to buy like another one or have it upgraded or whatever, and they changed it so substantially that it might as well be like a ukulele.
just
Um,
accentuate the positives. Accentuate the positives.
yeah, but
You
accentuating the
could play the
positive is always a way to accept bad shit. You know, you should. I mean, you may have to live with shit, which I get. This is life, and you have to. But you should let people know where you stand, even as you have to,
okay,
right?
okay. In the words
Especially
of
here in
Bruce,
the great land of America, you can go,
yeah,
man. You people are fucking up. I'm gonna
okay,
buy this, but man, I really wish you fix your shit. I'm still a
okay,
fan, but come on, guys.
okay.
Model X was, that kind of thing. They go, yeah,
Okay.
no, we did
And
it.
the
Maybe it'll be better. And then
in the
next
words
time
of
you'll come back and be like, ooh, this is sweet. Wow, you guys nailed it. Mwah, I'm glad being like, it's why I buy Apple all the time, right? But at the
yeah,
same time, it's not like, shut up and get out of here. We'll give you what we give you.
okay. But
Yeah.
in the wise words of Bruce Lee, adapt to
Okay.
what is useful, dismiss what is useless, and then make it your own.
Yeah. How does that play on modern platforms?
Like I said, you have your audience. You're adapting to the new scenario. ex- so we have negatives, but accentuate the positives. We have the interaction. We can still do our content. Yeah, we can't do screen sharing. We can't have 8 people, but hey, four. I'll take four. That's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
that's negotiable. That's negotiable. So yeah, accentuate the positives. We have our audience. We have our interaction. Okay, the negatives. Okay, we're down to 4 people. Okay, fine, but that's okay. That's manageable. Two. Okay, we can't present on other screen we can't present the other screens. Okay, fine. I could work with that. There's other alternatives and I can and hey, if I want you to listen to this music, here, I'll play it on my mic.
You know what that implies? That implies that I have to do a lot of changing of a show that I constructed around what you gave me on the fly, doesn't it?
You're like, "I got the damn good bourbon. Why do I have to settle for Jack Daniels again?"
No, I think what I'm saying is this is
What? You
I
want
need
the
you
make
to take all this equipment across this landscape and then set up when you get there, build a like uh like a little ranger station and set up an antenna. Um like a
or
tent.
here,
Okay.
or here, or here, here.
I'm geared for that. So
Okay,
I go out and do what you tell me, and then when I get there, it's you know a desert
okay,
landscape. It's not what you said it was.
okay,
You should be mad, right?
okay. For
Yeah, can you salvage that situation? Yeah, pretty sure you can, but you should help me salvage it. It shouldn't be. I shouldn't have to wing it. And I feel like I'm
okay,
winging
yeah. For
it
instance, like
because I
this
had a
rum bottle, like this rum bottle, age
yeah,
5 years. Okay,
right,
product of Barbados.
right,
All right, good, smooth, got a little kick, nice,
okay,
flavorful. This is
okay,
what Haps version one, the beta,
right.
and now we got Malibu. We got all the good shit in here. Age 5 years, a premium, the quality of the brand, but then we have to settle for a Malibu.
Right.
So okay, we
And
got
then
to
the
sip the
third
bottle. We got it.
version will be
The
an empty
third
bottle,
version is
and they'll
or
wonder what
Ozarka
happened.
water.
Remember,
Ozarka water.
Kodak was a photo juggernaut for 120 years, and then the internet came around and
Polaroid.
killed it
Polaroid
because
came
a lot
around.
of right Polaroid, and yeah, you know people sometimes you don't stay current with what the people want, and people adopt something else.
It's a
I'm
supply and
all for the
demand.
little engine that could. I am, but like
Yes.
that little
So right
engine
now,
needs to be
okay. So
a
right
serious
now we're in the
contender. This is a
okay.
Rocky movie.
We're in the little engine right now.
Okay.
But don't worry. We're in the infancy. Relax.
Alright, alright, alright,
Relax. It's
alright,
gonna be okay, man. It's gonna be okay. Here,
alright.
here, 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 here. I poured another one. Come on.
Whew.
I poured another one. See? Come on. Cheers, man. It's gonna be okay.
This
We're gonna make it.
mm.
You gotta hold on for what we've got.
Oh my god,
See,
John
it doesn't feel
Bon
so bad now,
Jovi.
doesn't it? See, now you
John
feel
Bon
better.
Jovi, that's so good. For me, I thought it was Journey. Um,
Yeah.
ah,
Don't stop
yeah,
believing.
Journey.
There you go. See, you
Bar
see now.
songs, man.
See, so just think about it perspective. We still have our audience. We still connect. We can still do our content. Yeah, we don't have all the screen sharing, all this other stuff. But however, we could still have our audience. We could still bring up four people and talk at one time, and everybody could go on a rotation. It's just a little work, but hey, it's gonna be all right.
Oh.
We're still here.
But what if you do a
Late,
show of one person? All that stuff was helpful. Showing you
and
images. I mean, we ran through history on these old broadcasts, right? I mean, I
exactly
could show you pictures of Vermeer that why I like him, why he's my favorite painter, right?
right.
But I
And you
can't do
could.
that anymore.
Well, did you do that on Periscope?
I wasn't on Periscope.
Okay, so on Periscope, you would have to flip the camera angle, but like, hey, look, this is what I'm looking at, and you're showing. That was pretty much the way to do mobilely on Periscope. You could show people like, oh, I'm at a festival, or I'm doing this, or I'm trying this place out. You could do your cast because
But
I
that's
did it.
mobile shit. I'm here in my living room. Not my living
I
room,
know,
my
I
office.
know, I know, I know, I know, I know.
Okay.
But you could still run a show. I mean, like again, if I can't screen share, I could just do this
Right.
because I could watch YouTube, I could listen to my Spotify music on here, Amazon Prime, Netflix. I can just say, "Hey, look, check this out." And I'll play the audio. Look, there's my sound bar. There's my DVD player.
Right. No,
So
I
it's
see. I get you.
I can make it work.
Right. Okay.
You're
No, I
being
look.
spoiled.
Listen.
You're
I,
being spoiled, True.
I look. Listen. I get that. We can make it work. My whole point is, and maybe this is just one of those things that we won't agree on. I just think that yes, it is your platform. You can change it at will, and we signed up for the experience. But you don't want to be so. You don't want to alienate the people that you're trying, because I mean, Facebook has a billion people, right? If
Yeah,
Facebook,
because of Periscope, because of Haps. I mean, not because of Periscope, because of a Blab. I mean, that's when you start having Instagram Live, Twitter Live,
right? And that's my
Facebook
thing.
Live.
Now that there's other things out there that like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yeah,
I'm not on. I'm still on Instagram, and I haven't
I mean,
actually checked in like 60 days.
Twitch, and then on
But
Twitch. I mean,
there's other
I look.
places to go to is my point, right?
Yeah,
So it's not
yeah.
like you have to be a diehard believer, but if you go, God dang it, this is, I invested all this energy. Now I'm just now I'm angry and I'm spiteful at it. You know what I mean? Uh
I understand. I understand it. I understand everybody else's perspective. But the main thing I'm driving home is we still here. We can still do our thing.
right. No,
So
listen,
don't let it get you down. Don't let it get you down.
okay, I'm not, but we're not talking about now. Look, I've told you where I stand specifically. But
I
I'm just
know.
thinking I'm just thinking of the idea of it and why it's all right, never
And
mind,
then
forget it.
and then like on the iPhone, every other month you get an update. So
Right,
what if Haps does its update? So what if they know that hey, these are the list of things that people are wanting. These are the people
right.
that people don't,
Because
that they don't
they took
want, and
away shit that I liked, and they didn't give me the thing that I wanted. I wanted to be able to a stable enough stream so I could game on Haps, right?
me too.
That's
You see
that
my
is the
shit.
holy grail. And
You
not
saw
only
my
did you
shit.
not find the holy grail, you gave me a Dixie cup with a hole in it. I'm just kind of like, wait, what? This
Yeah,
is this is worse than what I had before.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just uh,
Believe me. I mean, you see me play Uno on here. You see me play Division 2 on here.
yeah,
I mean, you hear you heard the audio of Gauntlet. I mean, so I
yeah.
mean, yeah,
Those are the things they should have fixed.
I'm annoyed about it too. But the thing about it is, it's like, okay, all right, so I can't
I
do
wonder
screen
what
sharing.
the
Well, I can't do screen sharing, but what can I do? I can still talk about, politics. I can still talk about food because I could just go over here, click, add a new
right,
window, and I could just read. And it's like, you don't believe me? I'm reading I'm reading the website, the address, and everything. So it's like I can still make do with what I have. And I'm not. I mean, I think like Tony and I, we're like the only ones that are like, all right, so we just make use of it. Yeah, okay. It sucks that we got to find other ways to do shit, but the main thing is we can still interact. You still
right.
got your main broadcasters here, so it's just
Yeah. No,
it's
I got you.
we just rough it for a little bit. Think
Yeah,
about this. Think about
but
this.
okay, but yeah, I feel you.
Think about
But that's
this.
not the way. But hold on, but that's not
You
the
want to
way.
travel the
I know
country.
what you're saying because we've said it several times. But that's not the way human beings work, right? So you will feel extra kind of like agita about this, not just because of what happened here, but because your boss was an asshole to you. You had a bad day that day. You didn't catch the lights. You got pulled over and got a ticket, right? So all of these things sort of ferment this sort of view. And the biggest thing that stands out in this is this. So it is what it is. All right. It's ten
So,
o'clock.
but think about this though.
Yeah.
You want to travel the country, so are you going to travel
Damn.
and sleep in your car? Hang on, you want to sleep in the tent or do you want to sleep at the hotel?
No, I'm going to be sleeping in the tent.
Okay, but so the comparisons of sleeping in a tent versus a hotel.
No. It's the comparison of buying a tent that has a history of work and then buying their latest model and then the rain seeps in and it doesn't hold up and you wonder what the fuck did you do to your product? That's what it is.
My point is, we're in the tent. Beta 1 was the hotel. where you have the AC, you have a running shower, you have a microwave, refrigerator, a comfortable bed, the
But
lights.
that's not a
But
good
in the tent,
analogy. That is
yes,
not a
it
good
is.
analogy because what
Yes,
you're
it is.
essentially saying is that
You had more
you
with
went
the
from
hotel.
good and comfort to lesser than for
I
no
know.
reason. Whereas you're supposed to, even if it's a hotel, then you should that has a walk up, then you should be giving me a hotel with an elevator. If it's a tent that's not waterproof, then you should be giving me a tent that is waterproof. It should be an improvement on what I had. It shouldn't be a giant step down.
My point is,
All I'm saying.
you could do more at a hotel, and you have to do minimum with a tent. That's my point. We did more. The beta one was the hotel. Right now we're in the tent. But the main thing we have in common is we can
Right.
still interact. So that's
Right.
the
I
point
get
I'm trying
that.
to make.
I
That's
get
the point
that.
I'm trying to make. Yeah, we are in the
Interaction is
tent.
the argument that I just went from a comfy hotel to a tent in a parking lot. I'm unhappy about that.
Yes.
Whereas
Yes.
if I saw that in a tent in a parking lot and you gave me a tent in a grassy area or a tent, a waterproof tent in a parking lot with a grill, that's an improvement. Whatever you're doing should always be an improvement, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
And this hasn't been
Okay.
an improvement. And
Valid.
going from a hotel to a tent is not an improvement.
I know, but but my thing is,
Going from a one
w-
bedroom to a two bedroom is an improvement. Going from a
but
one
what I'm
bedroom to a youth hostel is not an improvement. I don't think this has been an improvement.
well, I
However,
mean,
if they
but
put me in a
overall,
tent, uh, and then like the next update is that tent is in a national park, and then the next update is that tent is in a national park with these scenic views of X. I'm like, dude, I'm glad I'm not. I was totally, you know what I'm saying? So I expect a drop down to then the landscape to improve around it. I'll totally get that. So I'm not trying to crush um,
just
heavily
give it
on
time. Just give it
what's
time,
going on
man.
here. I just hope that there's a deeper plan.
Yeah,
My man Ted. Uh,
it's gonna be all right, man.
to yeah,
We're gonna get through this. We're gonna
yeah,
get through this. We're gonna
absolutely,
be fine. We're gonna be fine.
absolutely. All right, so I think we're gonna end it here. It's 10:10. Thank you for coming through. Wow,
Yeah,
you and
thank
I
you for
had a
having me.
phenomenal conversation. That was awesome.
I know
We,
we could go like another
yeah,
5 hours.
yeah. The reason why I'm stopping because I'm hungry and I've got food
Yeah,
up in here. But
and
yeah, we
my
should try to
popcorn
do
went
this
cold.
regularly. Yeah, I've noticed that. I was like, oh man, I wish I had thought of that. I was looking around here. The only thing I have is don't worry about that. There's no edibles. There's no eatables. Uh, you play an
Oh,
instrument?
no, but I've been thinking about it. I just got to
That's how
pick
this
the
pod
fine.
started. I
Yeah,
used to do 5 hours a day for the first 3 months on Haps playing the guitar.
I know. I saw.
Horrible
I
at it,
wanna
but I love it.
I wanna learn how to play bass
Oh, nice. Why not?
because I just haven't been putting much effort into it, and then I get distracted, work and relationships, and
Yeah,
the stupid drama in my crazy life. When really, if I can make the time to do this, I can make the time to go get me like at least an acoustic bass guitar and do what you did, learn online and
yeah,
work my way. I mean, I've always been a fan of bass guitar just because I love the sound, and plus, I love how some of these players, from blues to jazz to rock to like R&B, just hearing it, just like funk style, just
yeah.
hearing how the bass sounds, and it's just like it's always been catching.
Dude,
Even when I'm
I super encourage you because you'll learn with the internet. You can learn at your own pace. So
yeah,
my weird learning style is like I watch a lot of musicians and singer songwriters and a lot of how to play videos, which leads me into like people's histories of like art,
you know,
like guitar. And before you know it, so I'm middling about and learning chords. I haven't learned songs yet, but like just all this shit about people who why they wrote songs and why they named it this and what
yeah.
bands you fall into this musical hole, which I think is good. And who knows, man?
How
You
often do
might
you get on?
have a Grammy in your future.
Yeah, how long have you been on using Steam?
How long have I been on Steam?
Yeah, how long you been using it?
My good lord, I think joined Steam 12, 15 years ago.
Okay, so this is
I
this
have like
this is what I
130 games on Steam. So I don't buy
okay, okay.
like so I'm buying
This
a
is what
game a
this is
year.
what I came across. I've seen it off and on, but every time when there's a sale, they have on Steam a guitar teacher.
A guitar teacher.
Learn how to play guitar through Steam.
Oh, right, right. Yeah. Yeah, I have not Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero is a bullshit one. I have
No, no,
Rocksmith.
but I mean, yeah,
Which
Rocksmith. Yeah,
teaches you how to play an actual good. Yeah,
yeah,
that is a
yeah.
game worth
So
getting. Everybody highly super endorse that game. Whether
yeah,
you
because
play it
I
on your Xbox because you actually learn an instrument.
and and on top of that, you could be doing it from your home because you could make the time
Yeah,
at home versus having to drive across town for the guitar lesson or whatever the situation may be. You know, it's like, okay, you get it late, you get off of work late, and you're like, damn, I missed my appointment. But hey, I could go home, I could spend 30 minutes learning a couple chords, kind of like how
right,
you were doing, kind of
right.
like how I think Desiree was doing it, like playing guitar, and other people, they're just like they're at home,
Yeah,
like
at your
taking it
own pace.
at your own pace. And on top of
How
that,
do I even study? And then you look up and you there's all these ways to study guitar to get good. Like you're like 15 minutes a day on these five topics. You're like, what? I didn't know that yesterday. And now, 6 months in, 8 months in, a year in, we all have different styles, but
yeah,
you'll be fucking good. It's amazing.
yeah. So yeah, I
I'm
mean,
I'm I'm
so
I'm expecting to be good somewhere around next year, August, November.
I mean, because I'm gonna go to Guitar Center and just ask for a use like a ukulele because I think ukuleles are pretty
Think about
cool.
buying a ukulele too. That's amazing. And a
That way it'd be like
mandolin.
ding, ding, ding,
I want a
ding, ding,
mandolin.
ding, ding, ding. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
highly encourage it because we
I
all like
yeah I
music. So
hmm
imagine the music you play if you knew music.
yeah. And then lately though on YouTube I've been listening to a lot of bossa nova,
Oh,
where
nice.
a lot of bossa nova where they play like the top hits, but like in a nice lounge jazz kind of style. And then I have like uh like the music channels. I think it's like one's called Beat. Ah, damn it. Hang on, I can pull it up here. Um, let me see. Yeah, right here. Like Blues Lounge. So it's 8 hours of just like listening to blues music, like all instrumental.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Blues
Um,
Lounge.
yeah, it has like 82.4
Don't play that.
thousand subscribers.
I'm I'm
Oh,
playing it.
right, right,
I'm
right.
broadcasting this to several.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before
So
you know, it'll
yeah,
be up. Right.
so like all around like all the warm November. So it's like listen to music by the warm and cozy November jazz. Um,
Warm and cozy November jazz.
Egyptian tales, flute, like Egyptian style music, but with a flute, all instrumental.
What
Uh,
platform is this?
YouTube.
That's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Throw the link in the chat so I can remember it.
All right.
I thought it was a separate platform. That's amazing. I'm completely for that.
Yeah, like let me see. I'll type in the channel.
Yeah.
That's one channel,
Relaxing jazz BGM.
and then you have yeah,
Google. All right, so let's put this here. Relaxing instrument jazz
and then another channel is
for breakfast.
Blues Lounge. I've been listening a lot of these stuff, and I'm just so relaxed at work. I'm just That I guess that's why I'm making my sales. Like I'm doing so well in sales because like the music, and I'm just sitting there, yeah, it's all cool. And they hear it in the background. They're like, oh, that's nice. What is that? I'm like, instrumental jazz. I'm
It's
like, oh, we like
yeah,
it.
my thing is I'm not a jazz fan. Just not.
You must
Of all the
adapt.
music that I grew up, like, I just thought jazz was, and I went to jazz clubs, like, of all the like, I could tell you stories about, but, like, I instantly loved reggae music, it was explained to me. But jazz, and there's several different types of jazz too, right? So there's, like, this fusion stuff, and there's this other weird jazz where they're just going and I'm just kind of like, what the fuck is this? Then there's really lilting jazz with like, let's say Billie Holiday. So, oh, there goes the sleep timer. So I've always been kind of like, I don't get jazz. What is going on? But yeah,
It's
I've
really
tried to
nice.
like it. It's one of my like I like more country music songs. I hate to say it than jazz music songs. 'Cause I just don't get it. Unless it's really old jazz like Cab Calloway, would you even call that jazz, or would you call that big band kinda?
Um, let's see. Like in my library, I have. Oh, this is completely. I came across this yesterday on YouTube, but it's pretty cool. Uh, Japanese lo-fi.
That's me
This right.
trying not to. Dude, how many of these are you putting in the chat?
These are all the channels I list. The music channels I listen to on YouTube when I'm at work.
Alright, I think you've given us enough. What is that, 6? Yeesh.
Mm.
Ooh. Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know, man. I like pop music. I listen to a lot of bullshit pop music when I'm like working. But then when that gets tiring, I listen to either sports roundups or NPR, like news,
I'm a fan of
like whatever
instruments.
news network. And the only news I can get is NPR, which is slanted AF, but it's still
Oh, okay. If you want to know good here's an artist that you should check out.
Japanese lo-fi. What the hell is Japanese lo-fi? You are killing me, man. What is Japanese lo-fi?
So pretty much you hear like the jet
Damien,
like
who's
you have
Damien
you
Escobar? See, I should be able
you're
to put that on the screen so people can know what we're talking about.
yes,
Right, because
yes.
I coulda
Like
just read that and
again,
be like,
uh,
"Oh, that dude,
again,
I love that dude." People be like, what are they talking about?" Right, you
yeah.
know?
But
So
people could look for themselves. There are other ways that
no,
I
but if
mean
I
it's
just
still
said,
getting out
"Oh," and
there.
you put someone in the chat and I was like, "Oh, I love that guy," and you're like, "Yeah, he's awesome." I mean, people like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
not only are we
Damien,
having a conversation there, we also have to take into account people who may be viewing this who are watching our conversation. And since we
yeah.
can't give them any context of what I'm like, I'm like, "Ooh, what is," like, so I'm like I'm doing stuff over here, and they're like, "What are they talking about?"
Yeah,
You
so
leave people out of the conversation, which is a problem.
yeah. So like Damien Escobar, he's pretty much like violinist. Like some of the songs have some lyrics, but most of his songs is all he it's all instrumental. But he plays the violin, and he has
Okay.
like that hit. Then he has like that lounge music behind in the background. And sometimes he
But
does a
what is
lot of
lounge music? I mean,
he does like a lot of cover. See like this one. Just hang on.
I don't know, but see, here's the thing. I can't, like, it'll get me you can't play it. It'll get me a strike is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh,
And
okay.
that's the problem because I'm streaming to YouTube and Twitch, and YouTube will be like, "Our algorithm says you played some dude, and this is your third strike this week. You're banned from
Yeah.
YouTube for like 6 months or whatever the case be." And I'm like, "God dang it!"
Yeah.
So that's why we don't play music here. But we can read. Let's close these. We can read politics because that's discussional, and I don't know. But all right, man. I think we may be wrapping this thing up because I
There
am
you go.
straight sturvulating.
Yeah,
Um, what time is it in Texas? 8?
it is 9:18 p.m.
Oh, so we're only an hour away.
Yeah,
How far are you away from Colorado? Are they in a different time zone? They're only
Colorado's a mount.
2 states over.
Colorado's an hour behind me. Mountain time.
Colorado is an hour behind you. So they're at 8:15 and I'm
Yes,
at 10. And
yes.
then California is an hour behind them.
So
Is that right?
right now it is 7:18 California
In
time.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, 7:18 right now.
8:18.
So you're 10:18.
Right.
So
So
I'm
7:18
Central,
in
Mountain, Pacific,
California,
and Pacific Pacific.
8:18 in Colorado,
Seven seven
9:18. Oh wait, what I meant?
seven. It's 7:19 right now in California.
California, 8
8:18 in Colorado.
in Colorado.
Nine
Wait,
nineteen in Texas,
right.
and then
Okay.
you're 10:19.
Okay, right.
Yeah, see right there, my wall clock.
4 hours across from New York to California, 4 hours across 3,000 miles. 7, 14, 21. Okay, 8, 16, 32. All right. So it's like 725 miles per between time zones.
Oh,
Just
and
loose
here's a
stupid math in my head.
what's that group?
715 miles in per time zone.
Oh, and here's
Yeah.
something of this group that you'll see on YouTube.
Hmm.
They do acapella.
Oh, I know that I've known these guys. They've been around forever.
Yeah, yeah,
They used to
do an
be
acapella.
on when not was that no, that wasn't Pentatonic. I was thinking Where in the World is Carmen San Diego. Those
Yeah,
that acapella band was
doo wop, doop a doo ba doo wop,
yeah,
doop
what
a
was the
doo
name of
da
that group?
doo da. Where in the world is Carmen San Diego?
Exactly.
Doo wop, doop doo da doo wop.
Ac-
From damn, I used to remember those lyrics.
Acapella.
My dad made me watch that show to no end, and that's how I became like such a pro on geography.
Yeah, that's San Diego. All right, here you go. Rockapella, the acapella group. Yeah. So their name was Rockapella. And so I think I know three acapella bands. Um Pentatonic, Rockapella, and there's a oh my god, now I forgot them. There's a black acapella band. I can't even right now. It's 10:30. All right, we're gonna wrap this thing up. Um, Brian, thanks for coming through and chatting with me, man. I fully appreciate you. Are always super welcome. We
Thank you
covered a
for
lot.
having me.
Uh, you should
Pick up the
start
guitar.
your music career. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm only 6 months in. If I can give you some old wisdom from a guy 6 months in, um, start writing lyrics now.
I used to write poems.
Yeah, so did I. And I'm realizing, this is not as easy as it used to be. so I'm beginning to think I may have to
Yeah.
get some cogs. But I used to write raps. But yeah, I think art is something that you have to keep abreast of.
Yeah. Keep that alive.
Yeah. But
Keep art alive.
you should start. Everyone, all of us who is listening, who are listening,
And
uh,
then
play something.
like
It
I
enriches
get a
you.
ukulele, I get a ukulele, you get a ukulele, and we can like teach each other how
Exactly.
to play the
Yeah,
ukulele.
at the
Hey,
campfire,
there's
probably
an
the giant steaks.
yeah.
That's what I'm
So
talking
yeah,
about.
be like, yeah, I'm playing this chord, okay, and then we're coaching each other as we play the ukulele.
Yeah, exactly,
See, there you
exactly,
go.
exactly. All right, ladies and
Matter of
gentlemen.
fact, I'm gonna look at Guitar Center how much a ukulele goes for now.
every time I go to my local, they never have. I'm always looking for a mandolin. They never have one. But I follow this lady on YouTube, uh, and she plays the ukulele. And I would love to have something in the car because you have like I could buy a little guitar, but like I might as well just get a little ukulele. My whole thing was to learn music, wasn't to learn guitar. I wanted to be able to like learn enough about music to play, uh, to know like with middle C was on a piano and made, just like, you know what I mean? And the easiest thing I had was guitars. But yeah, I think
Oh, get out of town.
did how much? You can probably find a good one for like 200,
No, a
300,
used one. I could use one. I could buy a used ukulele for under $50.
under $50.
Under $50.
Dude, get in there.
I'm looking at a Mitchell MU40 soprano ukulele for 34.99.
What's the
Another one
difference
for
between sopranos
47.99.
and tenors? You might want to know what that is.
I have no idea. The only thing I know is soprano is high pitched. And
There you
then
go.
like a Kala KASWB Waterman soprano ukulele, $40. Um, learn how to play a complete kit. You get the guitar, the book, and the CDs for $35.
Nice.
So yeah, I think I might go this route. It's easier.
Yeah.
It's easier on my pocketbook.
Yeah, and it's fun to like just kind of like noodle around
Yeah,
instead of hating politics. And then you camp a lot too. Cook something like pull out, just kind of like I hate to be cliche about it. The only thing you would need is like a dog and like to really make this like one of those moments. But yeah, I mean all these disciplines that you get good at by yourself and then are able to like
yeah.
show your friends or like people instantly were, oh, he's a musician. That implies a lot of work
And
and
then
talent at something.
and also too, I bought the book and I have the CDs. It's just like I really need to put more
Yeah.
effort into it. But learning Spanish,
I would love to learn Spanish.
yeah, I bought it like Barnes and Noble. It was like learning Spanish on the go. So when I was working out in Midland, I throw in the CD, and for 8 hours while I'm on the road, I'm like, it's like a Spanish sing along, but it's teaching you. They're like,
Oh, really?
yeah, I'm going to mi casa, house. I'm going
Right,
to see me papa, father. It's
right,
kind of like that. It's corny, but it's like an easy way to learn
right,
Spanish. They're like, my abuela is happy to see me. My grandmother is happy to see me. And
right.
then they'll say a line in English, and then they'll say it in Spanish, and then they flip it. Yeah, mi esposa, I like, whatever. They're like, yeah, my wife is going to the store today. And think about it, 8 hours on the road listening to that.
Right. Man, I was actually thinking about this of like the idea that maybe I could learn Spanish on stream or something like that, and I was like, guitar would probably be easier. Um, I've always wanted
I
to learn
mean,
Spanish, but now
I
it's not
mean,
really
let's
necessary
see,
anymore.
let's see. Hang on, let me find it here.
But there's all
Ah,
these like uh oh, oh, there you go.
look
And
how
the way
thin that
you
is.
learn now is easier, just like learning guitar, but I'm pretty sure you can, but the ones I always hear as I'm driving around is what is it?
Right here.
It's named after a song. What is it?
Speak Spanish in 30 days and learn everyday phrases.
Right, but there are two of them. I can't really even remember. Uh, this is my mind at this late hour. Um,
Más o menos, so
Rebel
so.
Stone, not Rebel Stone. What is the stone with all the languages on them in Scotland? That did not Scotland.
Rosetta. Rosetta
Rosetta. Thank you.
Stone.
Rosetta Stone, and their competition is
Fuck, I know who you're talking about.
yeah, but those I always hear that, and as I'm driving, I'm always like, God, I would love to just know another language, but it's one of the things I would like to do, but I'm never gonna get anywhere near especially at this advanced age. I'd rather learn how to play the guitar and then
Well,
try and bone up and go to law
here,
school.
I will share something with you that I keep on my phone, and I keep this as a I keep this as a reminder whenever I feel flustered with a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll share this with you. And this one kind of keeps my head above water. Um, Here we go. Just because you took longer than others doesn't mean you failed. Remember
Right.
that.
Yeah.
There
I agree
in
with that.
fine print.
I agree with that.
And then another one I want to pass on is simplicity, patience, compassion. These three are your greatest treasures. Simple, and actions and thoughts of you return to the source of being. Patient, with both friends and enemies, you accord with the way things are. Compassionate towards yourself, and you'll reconcile all beings in the world.
Yeah, but see, I
The
used to
real
love those as a young man, but now I've realized that they sort all these kind of like things sort of push us into this kind of like we have
and
to monitor ourselves in this unfair environment, right? Sometimes you got to know when not to be so
Yeah, but
hallmark,
the
right?
real glow up is when you stop worrying about what people think about you and just keep growing, evolving, and getting better.
Yeah, but this we're a social animal. What people think about you matters.
Yeah, but you should
You
tune
see what
it
I'm
out.
saying?
You should tune
Huh?
it out though. You
No, 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 no.
we
Some
have
of
to
that
program ourselves
you
to
on
tune it
point.
out.
You can't be such a unique flower that you're out of the element of the group that you're in. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, what kind of um mm,
Sometimes you just need a break in a beautiful place alone
that's
to
true.
figure out everything.
That's true. That is a yeah, that's prime
Yes.
goodness right there. Sometimes you need to get away from all the people and the shit and just to kind of like be in your own head and figure out what your next move is. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and then here we go.
Yeah,
8 habits to lead a more peaceful life. 1, stop yourself from being judgmental. 2, say thank you early and often. 3,
true.
smile more, be
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
4, don't worry about the future. 5,
Mm,
listen to understand, not to respond.
yes.
6, don't procrastinate, which is my problem.
Yeah, I do that one.
7, 7, prioritize yourself, which is my problem. And
Mhm.
8, stop criticizing.
Okay, I think I got 5 of those. I'm fully in mode with 5 of those. Uh, all right, so we've been streaming for 3 hours. It's,
Yeah.
10:30. This is
But
where we
in
end. I gotta get some food in me. Brian, thanks for coming through. I fully
Thank you for
appreciate
having
you.
me. Yeah,
I will be
thank you for having me.
dude, thank you for coming through. I will be back tomorrow. Like I said, we were trying to stream for 1,000 days, and that ended on Veterans Day, oddly enough. And now I'm more gonna stream 5, 6 days a week and take a day off until I figure out what the next mode is. Smooth seas never made a skilled sailor.
Remember that.
That sounds like something that military people tell each other. If I said that here in Virginia Beach, this military town, they'd be like, "Where'd you serve?" I'm like, "Oh no, I didn't serve." They'd be like, "What the?" you, you
No,
know?
but where I got it from, what I got it from is a
Yeah,
picture of a boat going up on a tidal wave, meaning that
that
you're gonna
like that
have a
that
lot of
last scene of that
obstacles.
Mark Wahlberg movie, right
Yeah,
before
no,
the
no.
whole thing flips
Oh yeah,
over.
yeah, 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 yeah. Perfect storm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So pretty much it. It's like if you can navigate through that,
Right.
then you can navigate through anything.
Yeah. Nah, I fully understand the sentiment of the idea of smooth seas never made
Yeah.
a skilled sailor. I should be able to bring that up on screen so people can see it.
So
All
right
right.
now,
So we
right now
did it.
we're in a boat. We're in a boat. We're in choppy water, but we're gonna make it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm not a giver
We
upper,
gotta
as I like to call
hold
it.
on to what we've got.
Ah, oh my gosh.
But
All
overall,
right.
yeah.
With
Thank you
that,
for having me. Pleasure to be on.
dude, thanks for coming through. We're gonna figure this whole thing out. We're not
Yeah.
giver uppers. We're not quitters. We will see you in the next one. I want to say the next one is tomorrow, but like I said, I don't have my car, so God only knows what I will be doing. Uh, I may stream early and I may stream games, so I'll let you guys know. I want to thank everyone for coming through earlier and who was in the chat. I want to thank you, Brian, for hanging out with me for the
Thanks for
last
having me.
2.5 hours, which is pretty good, or just about theirs. And we will see you in the next one. Please like and subscribe to Brian's channel here on Haps. And please like and subscribe to all my channels, Truist Armor on YouTube, Karma Armor on my gaming channel. And we'll get at you. Anything else you want to say, Brian?
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Peace.
Adios.